You're doing Palestine discourse? I made a politically incorrect statement, so that's bound to blow up on my face. What is it? My. All right, this is gonna be fun then. Let's get it here. Player. Darling dear. Yeah, I spent most. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm definitely seeing something I'm not supposed to be seeing there, my friend. Sorry. Yeah, it's gone now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The impact. Uh-uh. Go for it. Last time on Crownbreakers. Oh yeah, it was actually a really fun session. Last time on Crownbreakers, we found some. We spoke to a tiefling queen. We fought on some lava. We killed a vampire and an angel horse, and then a giant hand came out of the ground. That was that. I'm very charismatic, guys. Nicely done. Ooh, we got a new follower. Time for some deep. I'm gonna grab my book just in case I need it. Mm. Mm. Ooh. I keep mine hidden. Ah. I said it's pitch black. Oh wait, no, it's not anymore. Good. Aye. Thorn. Of course. Yeah. So Laura's going to approach. And I guess she'll look at the guards to see if she can approach further or what the protocol here is. Okay. I'll go up and I guess get into the audience room and bow. That is us. We wouldn't be here if you didn't. Oh my god, wait, Lee, you're muted apparently. According to one of my friends who's watching the stream.
So
I don't know how much of it was.
So we have to do that whole intro again, I guess.
Hey,
I'm curious as to why I'm hearing both me and Pat echo.
how are we echoing? Is the chat, are they talking in the chat? By the way, thank you, Brian. You're a lifesaver there.
Thanks, Brian, but I'm not seeing how it would be possible for Pat to not be muted, but 12-sided guy to be muted, because they both come through
Unless I muted myself, but...
Yeah, so Q Prime, can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now?
Is that all good?
God, what was that phone coming in?
Ryuichi?
I can hear you now, okay, and you can hear 12-sided guy as well? Excellent,
Verizon.
thank you, Q Prime.
All right, cool.
That's going to make for a funny VOD to watch. Anyway.
Wait, so how much of that did we lose?
If I was muted, all of it.
Did you catch the intro, Q Prime, about the island and everything? So
yeah,
lost all of it, or you? Oh, yeah. So
well, we begin to go on with technical difficulties. Anyway, this is Kyran, the Sea King. He's the only Trident they've seen thus far in the city, and he's offering them a job. No ship can get out of Still Lake, but ships can go in. So he's in a curious situation, and after some strange flashes of light and telltale signs of balefire, it sounds like a job for some Crownbreakers.
Yes. So we passed through the town, and then we passed through the crags, which is the seedy part of town currently. And now we are here in the throne room, and respectfully acquiring a job.
Yep, so he's like, your money is 15,000. When you return here, and the ships can come and go, you will have your money.
Sounds reasonable.
Yes. Until then, we've found some documents which might be of use. A knight steps forward and sort of like pulls out a trunk with documents and sort of plops them on the ground. He then undoes a lock at the front, opens it up. There seem to be piles of scrolls and leather-bound journals and one strange silver medallion in the shape of an anchor.
What sort of documents are these, my character asks?
Held on high is an ancient keep. Its archives hold much lore. I had the librarian pull up anything that was angelic.
Ah, interesting. And what did they find?
He gesticulates at the box of documents.
Oh, of course.
Would that be Arcana? Would that be History?
Would that be like a basic intelligence check?
So there are some things that you can just get from reading all that shit. But yeah, your individual expertise will. I would say in this instance, if you're not proficient in the skill, you cannot roll it here.
Well, I mean, as soon as he opens the trunk, I'll start going through it.
All right.
Not full enough to touch an anchor, or the anchor rather, because I have no idea if that's cursed or not. But everything else, yeah, I'll be going through reading it.
I'll touch the anchor medallion. I'll look at it and investigate it.
All right.
Do an investigation. Let me open
Yeah, it's L.A. Noir and you just rotate it in your hand.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm going to do an investigation check.
You turn it over in your hand. It looks well made, but also well worn. You can't tell how old it is.
Should I do a separate investigation check for ascertaining anything of importance from these documents? Or would that be a different kind of check, like a knowledge, arcana, or history?
So how so like there's a lot of information here. Trollside guy mentions he begins to just like leaf through it, but where do you guys go? Do you like stay here to look at it, or?
I suppose we're probably not
Well,
keep the king occupied while we're doing this whole thing. So
I mean, as a general rule, assume I defer to your character because my character likes to say as little as possible when he can help it because he gets in trouble otherwise.
very well. My character is going to ask the king, have you perhaps a library where we might peruse these documents before we depart?
He nods and he's like, of course. It's already been done over for anything that might be useful to you, but you're welcome to use it.
Okay. Appreciated. And do you have any idea where the blockade is occurring?
Every direction. We've tried piercing out in every direction at once. We've tried going over the hill. We've tried going around the cragway. It's called going over the hill. Listen, trust me. It doesn't matter which way we go. It doesn't matter how many go out at once. All of them get sent back.
Ask him about
They get sent back. Are they? Oh yeah. I was about to do that actually. So they get sent back. So they're not slain or
There's a warning.
killed. They're just.
We assume the ones that never returned didn't heed the warning because their broken bits always wind up on the shore.
Very well. And the red clothing we saw while we were walking through town, the red crescent moons and other red objects, is there a festival on, or is that something you believe to be perhaps related to?
Oh no, that's just a local festival. It's yeah, it's it's the red moon in 2 nights. There are superstitions about it.
Superstitions such as?
You know what a red tide is. You could roll nature to know what he's talking about.
Okay, I mean, out of character, no, but in character.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like you know what a red tide is, but I don't know if Uber Dusk knows what a red tide is.
I don't think probably would. Why don't you give me a disadvantage or something on this? Because I don't think she's not from a seafaring area.
Well, even with disadvantage, it's a 16. So I'm gonna say you get the general idea that it's when a whole bunch of fish wash up dead and the water's all red. So he's like, yeah, yes. They believe the festival holds it at bay by appeasing some old deity of the sea. Trust me, I've been down there. The only old deities at the bottom of the ocean have tentacles, and they don't take kindly to lays at festivals.
Interesting. Well, surely it's unrelated.
Yes.
Let's peruse these documents then, shall we? And have you a library for us in which to peruse them? I don't think you'd appreciate us sitting down on your floor and looking.
Certainly. You will be shown. He gesticulates at this night. It was like, my lord.
Excellent.
And yeah, you guys are led out of the throne room. Do any of you like cast a look back as you leave?
Sure, yeah.
Oh.
You notice the other knight has stepped in closer to Chiron. They're both watching you leave, and the knight is saying something in Chiron's ear. Not quite whispering. By the way, there's a badass view of the of Still Lake, the misty waters behind him. Like that dark water, that's actually like there's not a back on this throne room.
Oh shit.
It seems like some sort of magical ward prevents mist and rain, water, and shit from coming through. But you can just see the waters and shit stretching out, the clouds.
It's like the.
Are we... Go ahead, sorry.
No, you go first.
We're in bright light, I assume, yes?
Yes.
Could I attempt to read lips at this distance?
Yeah, certainly.
But perception, I assume?
Mm-hmm. I'd say so.
Wow, my rolls are not good. Okay, 13.
You do make out one word, though, because they take a pause and sort of enunciate slowly but quietly as they say it. That word is air. H-E-I-R.
Okay.
Just out of for funsies, I'm also gonna. Oh God, I always click
Oh,
that.
jeez.
Sorry. That was an accident.
Still, even if
So,
it's just
well,
a
I'll just take
standard
what you
roll, that
rolled. So
would've
you
been
rolled a
20.
14. What's your plus on the perception?
6.
No, neither of
Or-
those are perception. Or
Wait, neither of them are
Oh,
perception.
persuasion.
Oh.
You're right.
Oh my God, sorry. My perception bonus is. Why did I click them all wrong? My perception is +1.
Okay, so you got a 17.
Mhm.
Jeez.
You don't catch all of it. But you do see that the words leading up to air are do something about the...
I smell a conspiracy that I'm not involved in directly, unless maybe I am.
So you guys are led to part of an old, musty library. If the librarian is in, you don't see him or her. The knight sort of stands nearby. Actually stands, he's like, I'll be at the entrance ready to escort you out. You have been given liberty of the library. Do not abuse these privileges to go further. You are in Helden on high, an ancient and hallowed stronghold, as guests. And he...
Before he goes,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to ask him how long this blockade has been going on.
He turns around and says, a month.
All right, and does he have something like a red sash or something on him?
He has no... There's nothing indicating that he's taking part in the celebration, no.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll let him go then.
Well, all right. So I'll ask him. This might take a persuasion roll. Let me give you a persuasion roll. She's going to ask him. Hey, so I'm just super curious. What happened to the old king? Is it related to this angelic incident?
He climbs up and he says, "You are guests. I suggest you not ask any more rude questions. You are being paid money for your services, not to ask questions." And he's not gonna entertain any more questions. He's back at the door. He's a ways away, guarding the exit. You notice that one of the shelves nearby has been totally cleaned out, and that several of the shelves nearby are missing some tomes. You assume that at least some of those wound up in the crate that you have. If you try putting the books on, it fit. Yep. You guys are now, if you're poring over the documents, some of this is in common, some of this is in celestial. You know, celestial, good for you. Three big things stand out. One, there is an Avenger who is responsible for these waters. Nebulously unclear exact relationship. All instances of the Avengers' name have been expunged. They have not been expunged by human hand. You go to where their name should be, and the letters unfold before your eyes, turning into swirling maze-like puzzles. You cannot focus on them. This is
Well-
not an unknown magic to you, but it is incredibly powerful.
Suspicious.
Yeah. Normally, this isn't the sort of spell you cast on a book you have in your possession. Normally, this is the sort of spell you cast to be forgotten.
Mhm.
Or to make sure somebody else is.
Hmm.
There are parameters around these kinds of spells. It's just a matter of knowing which one they cast and what you have to do to break it. There's also brute force if you're of higher enough level than whoever cast it. Although those normally have repercussions like the book catching on fire. Yeah, and other than that, repeated references to a God Ray Trident.
The Arcana roll was to see if I knew how to
Which belongs to... Yeah, I would say... One moment. This is because this is one more thing that you guys get without having to do any rolls. Repeated references to a God Ray Trident, which belongs to the Helden bloodline.
Trident held in bloodline.
Yeah, but you know that they didn't make it. They got it as a gift from a friend. An angely kind of friend.
And the Helden family, is that the ruling family?
Well, you are in a keep called Helden on High at this point in time.
Right. But
Look, players have bad short-term memories. It's a thing.
Sorry, it's true. But the Triton, though, is the Triton, that's kind of what I was asking, actually. Is the Triton a Helden?
The God Ray Trident is...
No, the Triton.
Triton.
The guy on the throne.
Yeah. Is he a Helden?
No, the Heldens... you don't... You find a lot of references to the Heldens having things, or Helden this or Helden that, but you don't find any like biographies or even bloodline lineage shit. In fact, it seems like they're probably the biggest logical omission you'd expect to find in this trove of documents. You spend hours poring over and you can't find anything about the Heldens, even though there's an H on the fucking crest over the library door.
Huh. How about that? That's kind of suspicious.
So now I'm curious as a sneaky character with like a spy background. Do I think that this is done by people, or is this an extension of the magic?
Oh, you think this was, this looks like a textbook sloppy grab job on everything that proves legitimacy, probably so an alternative version can be fabricated. That being said, you do get references to something called the Helden Look, or the High Visage, and it's spoken of as some mark of their nobility, but the authors never go into detail. They act like, of course, anybody reading this knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Is there... I don't know quite how to express this, but this festival that's going on, is there a book in this library that might give me more information as to what it is?
You scan the spines. Most of them don't have anything on their leather, but you do see one black-bound tome. Looks almost more like a mesh of scales, but pressed into leather, with silver lining. And isn't that a red circle towards the top? Yeah, you get a certain intuition that might have something to do with this.
Right, well, while she's skimming through the other stuff, I'll grab that and see what I can learn about this festival.
Very prudent use of our time. So the Arcana
Look,
check.
I'm nosy. I can't help it.
No, I am not. My character was not disapproving. She's not the sarcastic.
So Ura figures that She manages to kind of limit down which sort of one this is, and she thinks there's one of 4 ways as how you do it. You either move from this plane of existence, say the name aloud above it, read the book backwards to forwards up until that point, or put it into an anti-magic field.
All right, so I'm gonna try 2 and 3.
What do you say above it?
Say the name aloud above it. Oh, so I have to say the name of the angel then.
You need to know what's being obfuscated to fix that. So
That can't work. I thought, sorry, what I read was read the name above it aloud.
oh, like whatever's written above it. Yeah. Okay.
That-
So do you begin the process of reading the book backwards aloud?
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of what I have to do, right?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Edwin, you want to give me a religion as you crack into a hefty tome.
Sure. Since I have a book that's effectively educating me on the subject as I'm reading about it, informing me rather, would I have advantage, or is this just a straight religion?
I would say it's advantage because you have a resource readily available.
Cool. Oh man, what is with my rolls? I swear I'm good at something, I promise.
This book is nigh indecipherable. Thick and heavy references to other tomes. Basically, all you get out of it is that Ontarok is an entity, and it's not a god, but maybe it is sometimes, but it's related to a god.
Well, I'll write that name down at least.
I'm gonna say, wait, oh shit, you wrote it down?
So it would take me a second to do so because I'd have to prepare the paper and the pen and stuff. So you would clearly see that I intend to do some writing. So if you have a reason to stop me, you can.
So I'm gonna say, what did you find out? And I'm gonna walk over to you and bring my book over.
I am not an educated man. It's something about some sort of entity named Antioch related to the festival. I'm much better at writing than I am reading.
I'm gonna scratch my head and say, Antioch? Who was it?
I'll just hand you the book and just be like, huh?
And she's gonna
Antorok.
Antorok. She's gonna say that aloud above the book.
Nothing happens.
Okay, that's fair.
You finish reading the book backwards to forwards, and you get to the part, and nothing happens. That leaves 2 options. Either putting it into an anti-magic field, or removing it from this plane of existence temporarily.
I don't see how either of those situations could be brought about.
Yeah.
I mean, let me look through
But you do have a lot of other documents that are available, so...
Okay.
I would say, in this instance, I would say investigate makes sense if you guys want to roll one last investigate to get a little bit more out of this. You're basically looking for clues.
Well, so now I have a question regarding that. Would we do that with advantage because of the situation? If not, what I would prefer to do is offer the help action to give her advantage, although it looks like it would not do well anyway.
So it's a baseline and without advantage. Ura gets a 12.
So I'll roll something separately then. Investigation. 13.
Edwin, you're frustrated. You're getting nowhere. You throw that shit. You throw it on the ground. You just you lean against the only place where there's really elbow room. Here, and you feel, as your hand goes over some kicked up dust, the strange feeling of vellum folding. It seems like they left a piece of paper here, or parchment, scroll rather.
Oh. DC-13, huh? How about that?
Well, I am nosy, so if a piece of parchment falls out, I will immediately investigate that, because I'm a cat that is yet to die.
This page has been ripped from a book. An old and significant tome. It's illuminated masterfully. And it depicts an angel, faceless, just sort of like a halo and golden rays.
Yeah.
It's handing a trident to somebody. And then, so on one, it's handing somebody a trident. That person's eyes are rays of light.
Interesting. I'm assuming you share this with the class?
And that's just what's illuminated along the top of the page. The page itself seems to be part of an ancestry. It's like those books of the Bible. It's like, and then so-and-so had such and such who was born of such and such. There's not a lot of information other than a Scallion who was lost to the sea. And Valera, who was born of the gift.
So
I'm
now,
gonna say the names of
These
the
individuals appear to have been generations ago.
book.
well, so now I have an odd question for you. I have proficiency with calligraphy supplies.
Yes.
As someone who has like a passing familiarity with illumination and such, or thieves' cant if you prefer, are there any of those quote unquote hidden inside messages in the margins on this page since it's illuminated?
Yeah, can you roll me a proficiency calligraphy kit?
Oh sure, I have no idea how.
I give you advantage.
Oh, I do know how to do that. Let's see here. So, advantage.
Also, hello, all 4 viewers. We're having a library adventure.
Yeah, we're Scooby-Dooing this shit.
The best type of adventure.
Learning things. Da-da-da.
It does not seem to be DSR or SDR, the standard rules. So I'm going to have to just add it quickly here.
I assume it would just be a big proficiency bonus on a... Is it intelligence? Or is it dexterity?
No. Xanathar's does not seem to suggest witch. So totally your call as to which. But it suggests as a use from Xanathar's that I either use Arcana, History, or as an attempt to decipher a treasure map. So intelligence, I guess.
Sure.
What did I just do? I have no idea.
You just put the words other proficiency calligraphy into chat.
Yeah, that's not what I was trying to do. So let's just do an intelligence with advantage then, I guess.
Yeah.
For an 11? Oh god.
What's your proficiency modifier? 2? 3?
Well, so in theory, it should be, with the calligraphy set, it should be 6 because of the class. So 17.
Yeah, so there is a message hidden here.
Ooh, fancy.
Is it a flail snail?
So
Did you say flail snail?
it says,
That's a joke.
behold the glory of Maga Visha's spawn.
Oh, that sounds like a name. Are you gonna share this with the class?
Oh yeah, no. You as far as my character is concerned, you are the face and therefore the leader. So yes, he'll share whatever he finds.
Beak's like, cool. I see we are scratching in tones.
My character operates better when he's at the back, and that's how he prefers it. So he'll show whatever he finds and just assume such.
Aura is kind of by default the face at this point since she shares her name with everybody. So she's gonna say, what is it, Magavisha?
Magavisha.
Magavisha over the book that she saw earlier.
Suddenly, Your eyes snap right to the point, and there it is, written. Magavisha is the name of the angel. You now know the angel's name. Considering you have a trove of angelic lore, which now probably means a lot more to you, that Magavisha's name is no longer obfuscated. You can roll... Do you have Bookworm? Are you the Bookworm?
No, I am.
No, neither of us are the bookworm.
Yeah, we're playing without the bookworm in a library, so.
I will give you...
I'm a featherlight with
Bit of
like
religion?
monk training and calligraphy.
I will
that's
give
about
you
it.
another
I'm a
Arcana
spy
roll.
too, if that helps.
We sure we can't do religion? I'm better at that.
Sure, religion.
Okay. Did it
Oof.
click?
18 if you consider me having advantage. 1 otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have gotten a big
Wow.
advantage. Alright, yeah,
That's-
so... Ura,
That's
you know
impressive.
basically just that it sounds kind of like maybe somebody had a relationship between an angel and a human, and...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's
12-sided guy...
I speak celestial if that helps.
Yeah, you track down, you learn the nature of the god Ray, Trident.
So now, is that
It's an angelic
God-
weapon. It can be thrown and, as a bonus action, returned to the thrower's hand. And it is incredibly powerful in terms of the radiant energy stored within it. Although it's not that dangerous as a direct weapon, you think it has more of a ritual significance. It's got something to do with Still Lake, with the sea and the ocean around it at large. You're not positive, but you think that the wielder has significant powers here, and you think that there's a catch, but you don't know what it is. You do know that the Heldon family held on to it for Magavisha for a long time, but you haven't noticed any tridents since you've been here, and you have heard people talking about somebody having a trident out there at the ocean. The glowing trident symbol that everyone sees when they're warned.
Well, no, didn't Buddy in the throne room have a trident set across the other chair?
So
what about the medallion? Oh, no, that
he had a trident. It was black.
Okay. So I'll share all of this information because, again, that's just what my character would do. He's just like, nope, this is the thing.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
does this collective of information give us more collective of documents, rather, give us more information on the specific angel at all?
No, although you get the feeling that it keeps making references to other documents, like hagiography of Saint Valera, that feel like they should probably be here if this was a cohesive collection.
Right, so I'm going to assume that they exist in this collection and that they just aren't actually here because of the other reason touched on earlier, to which I'll express to Aurora,
but nobody in universe can pronounce it correctly.
Okay, can I just call you Aura?
Sure.
Aura,
and you can call me Erdwin, because for some reason Lee seems to think that's what my name is.
Sorry, Edwin.
I don't mind. I just think it's funny.
Can I do one more investigate check? This time it's not from the books themselves. I would like to investigate the room and the bookshelves to see if I can, A, maybe find some of these books that are mentioned, but also B, see if there's anything else hidden amongst the books, maybe even including secret doors or something.
So you're in an A section of the library that you've been taken to, and there's a knight standing at the door, and he kind of has view of like the approaches to the other parts of the library, although they are partially concealed. So do you want to just wander out of this part of the library and start poking around?
I'm gonna also do. I guess I'm not sneaky.
All right, so Aura is, sort of like making her way downtown. when the knight
God damn it,
is
now I have that song stuck in my head.
and the knight is like knight sort of walks up to you, already not really happy about your question asking. He's got his hand on his hilt, and he says, "Mercenary."
Yeah, so she's going to say, "Oh, good, you're here. I have another question. This time unrelated to politics. My question is, there's a couple of books mentioned in these books, and they might include vital clues as to the location or identity of the angel. Have you heard of? And what was the name of the book that was mentioned?
Hagiography of Saint Valeria.
Have you heard of a book about Saint Valeria? It's mentioned in one of these angel
His
books.
his eyes ice over, and he says, "That book isn't here."
Oh, shoot. Well, I was looking for it, so I guess maybe it's not here then. All right. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to do my job as best I can.
While he's here, if I can I judge his character to see if he'd be open to say a bribe?
You want to roll insight?
Yes.
Oh,
sorry,
and
I didn't.
the
Didn't
glazing
have
over
advantage
of
on that.
the eyes. Can I just do like what would that be? Can I do an insight too, or maybe?
Yeah, you can.
So
I will tell you right now, 12-sided guy got a 21.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
If you had advantage, that would have been a nat 21 for you. A nat 20. But yeah, so he's like... You get the feeling that there is some inner conflict in this man. He doesn't strike you as corruptible by means of money, but it does seem like there's a bit of doubt. Particularly when you mention Saint Valeria. It seems like he's conflicted about what's going on. He doesn't like you, so he's not going to talk to you about it, at least not right now, under these circumstances, but he didn't technically...
To be fair, I know me. I wouldn't like me either.
You get the feeling he technically didn't lie to you when he said it's not in this library.
Okay, so...
You get the feeling that when he said you won't find this here, he was telling the truth, but he also was hiding something.
Okay, so based on that... how to approach this?
You also get the sense that you're getting a little bit too close to some motherfucking politics. He's already a little on edge about the situation. He doesn't want to be the one to spill the beans.
Okay,
so
I can work
just,
with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so having guessed that, well, not guessed that, assessed that, as it were, about him, I'll be like, I'll speak plainly, as it were, as if I were on a similar level with him, and be like, look, I get it. We're intruding as far as you're concerned. Truth is, we only care about what we get paid to care about. We don't care about whatever it is your superiors are hiding. We're not paid to care about politics. We're here to take out an angel. So if you know something,
all right. So he looks like he's agreeing with you, and then you say you're conspirators, and his face turns to stone, and you hear the shlink of his...
Sorry. Superiors.
Superior. Okay. I thought you were saying conspirators, and you were saying he was conspirators. No. Yeah, no. He was about to not be happy about that. You're superiors.
I don't know a better word to communicate is higher ranking.
No. Superiors works. I heard conspirators.
Fair enough.
So superiors, and he's like,
yeah, we're not paid to care. We're just paid to take out the angel, and if you want us to do that, we're gonna need information.
Yeah, and my character's just like, as long as I get paid, it makes no difference to me.
I am doing my duty, escorting you to the library.
Okay, no, I respect that. Fair enough.
If you meet the librarian between here and your way out, perhaps that won't intervene with my duty.
Well, that's kind of what we talk to, yeah. Where might we accidentally run into this librarian?
I'm certain that if I knew, I wouldn't tell you, but I will be escorting you out when you're done.
I see. Is there a scenic route? This is a gorgeous building.
You'll get an eyeful of the architecture before we're done. Now then, I suggest you finish your business here and bring only those documents you can carry with you discreetly. I was not supposed to let them leave the building, but I'm sure you will return them.
We don't even have to leave the building with them.
And he's like, that's good. So, Beak, so the knight turns and is like, let's go. Beak kind of comes up behind you guys and he's like, cool. I am wondering, why does this one join us so eager? Cool. What if he thinks we'll fix a different problem? Cool.
Who knows?
So yeah.
That's not their problem.
Beak sort of looks around, sniffs, clacks his beak, and says, "Cool. I smell a lot."
Yep. No. Totally follow now. Okay. I mean, in theory, that would be a totally different contract, I suppose you could say.
Yep. I mean, technically speaking, Crownbreakers are just neutral mercenaries who kill angels. You guys have done things that, in theory, Crownbreakers don't do before, and Crownbreakers' ancient founder was an angel who wanted to do the right thing. So, it's time to see if you really are Raphael's get.
What do I know about Beak? Because I'll be honest, this is the first game I'm hearing about Beak.
So he's been in one other Crownbreaker adventure with Aura and some other Crownbreakers.
Aura knows.
He, I would say by reputation, you know that he is a survivor, and he is suspicious and paranoid by nature.
If you had to describe him as a class, what class would he be?
Probably a rogue.
Okay, so I totally identify with that. All right, okay.
Okay, so we didn't really figure out anything that would let us know where the angel is.
Well, I can guarantee you, if we sail out, the angel will find us. So
that's what I was going to suggest. Actually, I was throwing it out there that maybe we could rather readily acquire an audience with the angel were we to try and mosey on out. But until then, we should probably exit the temple with what few books we need, if there are any. I didn't really see anything that we wanted necessarily.
Yeah, by the way, this knight doesn't tell you his name, but you do know that he has a black and gold shield for his heraldry.
Okay.
Black and gold shield. Is that's reminiscent of the Triton's stuff, right? Or no?
Yeah, it's not the same. It seems to be a personal one. The other knight didn't have this either.
Oh.
It's a personal device.
Interesting. Well.
So I'll make a note of whatever we need prior to leaving, so we don't have to bring anything with us.
Right. Yep. I don't think we need to bring anything with us. Can I do like a quick persuasion to be like, that's an interesting helm. Which
device.
What does it mean?
The knight just looks at it and looks back at her and says, "This is the symbol of my house. House Daggermark."
House Daggermark. Respectable name.
He was about to say we have something, but he catches himself and says, "Yes, a very respectable house. Now then, I think we need to be going."
Of course. By all means. Let us leave.
Alright, so he takes you through some hallways. You, after some time, arrive at the entrance, but then go past it. So he shows you to the entrance, and then he happens to walk further, where you encounter, or rather, you see somebody coming down a flight of stairs, carrying a stack of books. By the time they are at the bottom of the stairs, the Knight of House Daggermark is no longer with you.
Well, we could hardly pass up an opportunity to talk to this learned individual. No, could we?
Yeah, so you see an elf. She's carrying some books. She looks over at you, and she's like, "Oh, you're the Crownbreakers, yes?"
And I'm gonna guess you're the librarian, yes?
Well, I do like books. I tend to prefer to think of myself as an archivist, though. I preserve history in all its forms.
That's fantastic, because we have a few questions about history, if you don't mind us asking. Being Crownbreakers, we need to learn a little bit about the local area in order to figure out why the angel is here. And
So, hold on. I'm gonna cut you off there for a second. Pardon my being rude, but are you the librarian or not?
She says, "Certainly."
I'll hold you to that. Go on.
yes, so she continues and just says, we have a few questions about local history so that we can do our jobs better.
Certainly, I'd be happy to tell you all about Still Lake.
Thank you, thank you. In our research, we came across a few names of books that did not appear in the library. Something about a saint, I keep remembering.
Saint Valeria?
Yeah, Saint Valeria.
It's like, oh yes, the hagiography of Saint Valeria. Such a tragedy to have lost our copy of that tome.
Oh no, what happened?
Oh, I don't suppose anybody told you about the old king.
I don't believe anybody did, actually. Everybody's a little bit tight-lipped.
It's not a prudent thing to whisper of in these halls.
Of course. Is there
Perhaps you could buy me a drink later.
Of course. Certainly. Whereabouts is your local tavern?
Meet me at the 7-tier stag, bottom of the crags. You'll know it. And she says, well then, I must be off. And she's off. She sort of looks around to make sure man-at-arms or whatever wasn't listening, and she fucks right off.
Good. Well,
you guys are lingering in the castle after your escort has left.
Well, we better hurry out.
Alright, you are in Still Lake. A light rain is pittering and pattering down all around. You get it's very overcast. You get the feeling that it's, even though the sun's not out, you get the feeling it's getting closer to dark. You could seek arrangements.
This tavern sounds like they might have arrangements.
Yep. So you descend from Heldon on high and the noble estates all around it. And you begin to make your way towards, like, the streets grow more and more cut up, tiered. They swoop up and down. They become older and also less well kept. Rain batters you more and more as you are no longer shielded by the uprising, but more on the outer edge of it. And then you come to the independent, freestanding crags and built up and around, buildings perched along them, up out of them. You come upon a series of hanging wooden bridges, rope bridges, and ladders and stairs carved out of the stone. It's not an easy descent at the best of time. Rains licked and battered by the wind, as the storm seems to begin to pick up, which is strange, given you're in a place called Still Lake. Do you, you could hold back and wait for it to pass, or you could proceed and roll a dexterity save.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll that dexterity save. see. Going up to my dexterity. I hate how when I have to screen this, it doesn't let me manipulate my character sheet very well. There we go. I attempt to brave it. Got a 20.
So
Yeah.
I just want to understand what it is we're doing that we have to make this particular roll for. We're effectively climbing down ladders and whatnot, right?
So you're crossing like
In a
rickety wooden bridges, like with rope bridges, like as wind and rain buffet you and it's slick, and then descending narrow stone precipices and winding staircases exposed to the elements.
Okay. I imagine second story work would not influence that then, so I will make a dex. Just at regular, no advantage, no disadvantage.
Yeah, regular.
Okay. 10.
Right.
Good God. I have a +6. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. So you
oh my god.
you're descending around like a stone spire to get to a different, more grounded wooden bridge. When one of your feet comes out from under you, you hit the stone and you're thwapping every thing on the way down.
So if it helps, I have a class feature called Second Story Work. I gain the ability to climb faster than normal. Climbing no longer costs extra movement. In addition, when running or I make a jump, the distance increases by my dex modifier. So basically, I'm a sneaky thief who's good at maneuvering.
And climbing, yeah. I would say,
If it helps. If it doesn't,
well, so I would say before it can help, before it comes to that, Beak catches you with one of his clawed feet, and steadies you long enough that you can get back up. He stays close and sort of coos softly.
Respect, I appreciate it. Okay, I like this. I'm good with that development.
That dexterity save was to attempt the same thing, basically.
Yeah. So you guys get down, you cross, and you see something with like a stag's skull painted above it, and there are. It seems like it was almost built like a smashed together pagoda, out around a stone spire. Not exactly. It seems like there's stone above it and stone below it, but you're not quite sure how any of that quite works out. Smoke is coming out. It smells like meat, liquor, and something else.
Something else?
Yeah, that's vague.
Interesting.
Yep.
Define something else a little.
Yeah.
Roll perception.
I'm sorry, roll which now?
Roll perception.
Perception.
Is it
23, there we go. Okay, first good roll of the night, thank God.
Okay, yeah, it smells like somebody is smoking up in there.
Nice.
Okay, well, I'm down.
You notice that there's people with like red slashes and lays and red leaves and stuff. So the locals who are like, they're kind of like pent up in the buildings, but if they've made it to the 7.7 tier, they're partying in there, and you can see some people like leaning out over the side as well. The party seems to be a little bit less restrained down here in the crags.
Right. Okay.
You quickly, as you walk inside, you see that it looks like the entire you're in like the base of what is basically an overgrown stalagmite that comes up out of the water, right?
Okay.
It seems like it has been carved apart into very fine natural pillars of impeccable craft, far beyond the work of the hands of these humans. And up around it has been built the 7-tier stag, which is actually a 4-story building, which, like, the roof is actually basically, like, it resumes as if though it had never been cut out, expanding back out to what you assume is its original width. And you're not quite sure how the fuck this is in any way, shape, or fashion structurally stable. Nobody else here seems to be bothered by that fact.
Well,
I mean, based on my childhood, I don't care what's structurally stable and stuff.
Excellent. You also notice that there's not a strong delineation between the floors. Some sections are open. Some of them have like canvas, so you can kind of see and hear what's going on up and down and all around. There's a certain revelry. There is a priest who is definitely at least drunk, possibly crossfaded. He's got a book, which is white with a red moon on it, and he's trying to recite something about onto rocks, blessing of the still waves.
So now I'm gonna have to interrupt you there for a moment and ask what the heck crossfaded is.
What?
So crossfaded.
Canadian.
So
Oh
okay.
my God. It's my favorite thing ever.
So it's when you are so you know how like when you do a drug you are under the influence of that drug? Crossfading.
Sure, I'll pretend, but yes.
Crossfading is where you are under the influence of two or more.
See, as a sound and video person, that is not what that means to somebody like me. So I learned something new today.
It sounds like that they're on that good cushion alcohol. Is what I assume.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely smells like something that's dank, shall we say, of the water variety, a bit more aquatic and salty. Well, you're not.
Q Prime. I had no idea until today. This is the first time hearing that, other than video and audio.
Oh, so you put them in like a crossfade, not like okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
You're like, is there a visual effect going on this priest? No.
I do an investigation.
See, not the only one. Thank you.
Yeah,
Chad.
investigation to see what they're smoking, certainly.
No, actually, I was going to see if there's anybody who'd give me some.
Sure. You see that there is definitely somebody who is dealing, but there are also people who are just sort of handing it out. You also seem to be able to get some at the bar. So like it doesn't seem like it's that hard to come by. It looks like it's a patchy red moss. Yeah, they like basically use something that looks like a grate, let you like hand crank to like cut it up right before they smoke it. So they smoke the flakes.
Okay.
I'm just imagining like an espresso grinder.
Yeah. Although there's also sort of like a red paste that's kind of like a ruddy red paste that sort of like comes out that isn't the flakes that gets left over, and some people will scrape that out of the pipe and then smoke that as well after mixing it up.
Oil.
Yeah. So this is a real messy party. There are people like smoking, drinking. People are. It seems to be a religious festival. There is symbology around here of like there's like a stand, like a banner set up with a red moon on it. It is stylized O for a crater. It definitely looks like this is their way of celebrating a religious festival.
Do we see the librarian that 19 was there?
So it's not quite midnight yet. She says she'd be here after midnight. That being said, you can see that at the upper levels, there seem to be places where you can like lounges where you can kind of like lay down. Like the upper two stories are a bit squatter, and that seems to be where a lot of the smoking is happening. In part because the smoke rises, and again the floors are not fully solid. It's like playing some patch and stuff. So at the very top is a hot box. That is
fantastic.
Like, yeah. So if you go to the topmost layer, you don't need to actually smoke it to be rolling those con saves.
Oh yeah, I mean, all right. So I'm gonna buy some and some alcohol, and we're gonna probably go up to one of the lounges, and I'm gonna ask Beak and Erdwin,
Edwin,
as people call him. Yeah.
Hey, you works. Ginger works. Just call him the Ginger. That qualifies.
Precisely. So I'm going to ask their preference for cheer.
He would love to. He would absolutely love to. We have jobs to do, and if he starts to partake, he will be useless.
So,
Very well.
all right. So, yes, you guys stay on the third tier or second tier. Second tier has a better view of people coming in and out. It's a
Second
I'll
bit.
stay on the second tier and just keep a general eye on things because I'm much like Beak Beak in the sort of paranoid sense.
Yeah, Beak Beak is also kind of like hanging out.
I'm
Road
going
power.
to save the seaweed for when the librarian arrives, and maybe try and ply her with it later. But we will. I'll drink a tiny bit. You know.
All right. So
before
you do a little drinking, but you're not too
Tiny
much.
bit.
Do they have vegetarian options here?
They do have dry. They do
Tiny
have.
bit.
They do have dried kelp.
Yeah. Okay. My character's gonna order up some dried kelp then.
All right. All right.
Just snack on that. Then.
Here's your burn weed. And it does kind of look like burnt seaweed. It's the cheapest thing they have. It's even cheaper than the soup.
Oh wow. Okay. They don't perhaps provide pipes? Like with the
You
joint?
could bum a pipe off of someone or pick up a pipe that seems to have been discarded on the floor.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I'll just hand you one for safety's sake.
Yeah. After a while, the librarian arrives. She walks in. She walks up to the bar. She orders something that looks green, and she kind of looks around and peers up. Presumably, you're not hiding yourselves at this point in time. She kind of nods and she points upwards, and she begins to ascend via the outside stairs. There's also like paper lanterns hung around like the first floor.
Cute.
With candles in them, yeah, mostly red, yeah. So you guys ascend, and she goes up to the third tier and sort of lounges with her drink on one of the sort of like chase loungy couchy things that they've got there.
All right, I'm gonna light my pipe up and offer her some after I take a hit.
All right, roll a con save, and then she'll take it.
Let me do that con save real quick.
I'm gonna let them do their thing and have their meeting.
You're gonna be the one helping me on the. Oh yeah. I'm assuming that I'm going to get a little bit crossfaded myself.
Oh, I'm going to avoid the third level if it means I'm going to get high.
So the fourth level,
he's not going to stop.
The fourth level is the hot box. So you'll be around them, but you can just stand far enough away from them to not get overpowered.
Well, I'll be fair, I don't really see a benefit to me being there, so they can just convey the information after the fact, and while they have their meeting, I'm going to see if I can't snag us some red stuff.
Okay.
Because I can't steal anything, dang it.
Okay, well, yeah, people are fairly out of it and crossfaded or drunk or high or,
Which just means easy targets.
Yeah, exactly. People have discarded stuff, people aren't guarding it, or people have just left it on the table.
I'm going to try to pick up any local information I can. Learn more about the festival. I'll pick up a couple of red items.
Yeah, I would say you roll me an investigation, a perception, and a sleight of hand.
Oh, okay.
And we will
are any of those at advantage before I
roll? I would say the sleight of hand is at perception. Sleight of hand is at advantage.
Okay, so investigation, perception, and sleight of hand. So, investigation was wow. Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be good at this.
Yeah, so upstairs, while the Trollside guy is rolling for that, the librarian takes a hit, and both her and Ura get this feeling like both of their ears have been covered by conch shells, and they can hear the ocean in 3D crashing around them.
Okay,
There's also a bit of a...
Yeah? Perception was 25, sleight of hand was 22.
Jesus. All right, we'll be back there, but...
No, I figured I'd just share.
Your eyes get a little bit bloodshot. But rather than red, they look like they're shot through with blue veins.
Which totally doesn't show up on his eyes, to be honest, because he's got, very blue eyes, so, despite being a ginger.
Well, on Aurora and the not and the librarian, because they're the
Yeah.
ones who are.
Oh yes, yes. Right,
I would
they're
assume
upstairs.
that her eyes are kind of brownish or amber.
Yeah,
They're amber.
she got amber eyes.
Mhm.
Buddy cop episode. So
The buddy,
Hey.
hey, yeah. I need a fucking soundboard. Oh my god.
right.
A thieves got a thief. Very true, Q Prime. Very true. Thieves do got a thief. Um, so the librarian's like, yeah, that fire was so terrible.
Oh yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about it.
Oh well, I mean, the
I don't know
king.
one.
After the king, well, I always said the Heldens were a little crazy, all that angel fire in their blood, but
Yeah, the Helms is what was their name again? Shit, I can't even speak.
Valyria.
The Helven.
The helmsman, Helvin.
Helven. Helven.
Helvin.
Helden is the house.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah, that's
Helvin.
what she's talking
Yeah,
about.
and she's like, yeah. So I mean, after a while of being that crazy,
Mm,
and they had too many enemies, have a few too many people burned on pyres. And
oh
then you got
snap!
this weird obsession. Weird obsession with storms. You thought there were storms coming back to Still Lake. By the way, the wind rattles the panels on the outside of the squashed pagoda you're inside of, the sort of like riveted hole, wooden panel, sort of like quaking a bit as like condensation comes in. She obliviously just like, yeah, anyway, he got so crazy. He threw the fucking trident out of the throne room into the water.
No.
I mean, the symbol of the office. I mean, absolute just insane disgrace to the bloodline. But it'd been going on for a while because to try and keep the magic alive, the Heldens have been crossing the streams. I mean,
Cross from the stream.
yeah, that poor girl was so fucking inbred when she came out.
Oh,
11
yeah.
toes, all that shit. But I tell you what, it finally worked. Her eyes like globes of sun.
No kidding. That's the helmsman trait, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they always have a little something to them, but this girl, she could have been an angel. Like, wow. Yeah, anyway, her dad had her locked up. At first it was like a house arrest thing, but there was this incident and I don't know where she is anymore, but I hear they went and got her and put her in the dungeons, but I mean, I think she's probably dead by now.
No
Yeah, that
kidding.
Crichton guy showed up. Apparently the Trident hit and killed somebody kind of important at the bottom of the ocean. Kieran wasn't really happy about that. The locals weren't really happy about that. He said, side with me and I'll get you that Trident back. We'll find you another Helden. In the meanwhile, maybe, well, they were trying to set up
Yeah.
Gregor as the regent, but, that accident, the fire, I guess Gregor must have fucked up, or maybe he trusted the wrong person. He died in the fire, too.
Ooh.
Now Kirtan is the king. That's a little weird, isn't it? But the knights don't seem to be
Yeah.
stopping him, and I don't know what's happened to that whole find a Helden replacement plan.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I mean,
Sounds shitty. Like, how's your job security though? Like, you gotta be worried about that, right?
oh, don't worry. I've been the archivist here for the past 500 years, so, like, people just kind of, like, they're like, oh, it's that elf chick. Yeah, whatever. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's how it should be, you know?
Yeah, I
By the way,
mean,
I'd like to think that I arranged for lodging after this, right?
yeah. You showed them a completely insignificant amount of gold to you, and they were like, yeah, you can sleep here. So, I mean, your accommodations are this lounge you're on right now, but you can take it as long as you want.
Nice.
It seems like it'd be comfy to sleep on. And so, she continues to, she takes another hit on the pipe, and she makes another con save.
I'll take another hit too.
Yeah, she seems to do fine.
Let me do mine then. I'm just kind of trying to keep pace with it, you know. Oh wow! I sober up. In fact.
You feel like there's something in this mossy, weedy, seaweedy shit, man. Like it's trying to make you grow gills or something. You hear the water rushing your brain, but you're above it all, man. Just like Kreia said, let it all wash over you. So you're fine.
Yeah, she's gonna wait. So does this lounge have like? Does this lounge have doors or anything, or like curtains?
There's curtains and there's like Japanese folding screens, but there's not a lot of like necessary privacy here. It's more the fact that there's so much din and noise and drinking that you have privacy because it's a party.
So she's just gonna close the curtains and she's gonna like, you don't mind, right? My eyes are kind of like, I don't like this light, and she's gonna lie down on the lounge, just being like really chill, you know.
And the brain's like, yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, I've been coming here for like the past century, so like they just don't really question that I'm gonna pay my tab at this point.
Yeah, that's good. I can get your tab. I've got like Crownbreaker money.
Oh yeah, I guess you like travel planes in time and like kill the shit out of angels, right? Wow,
Yeah,
that's a trip. Wow.
Like maybe I should write a book or something.
Yeah, you ever like meet an angel you've already killed? Is that how that works? Did you guys like, did you go back in time or only forward?
Well, so, as a player, I have to ask, is that how it works? Because I have
That's not how that works, to clarify.
Okay, I've read what little bit of lore is in the Google document, but I have no idea.
There's time discrepancy between the planes of existence that you travel to, and you have a greater ability to travel through the planes than most people do because of your relationship with the angels. You can skim the far sky, even though you can't enter it. But you can't actually like, you can't actually do what she's describing. But there are legends. There are legends of Crownbreakers traveling through time or time dilation greatly affecting them.
Fun for those watching us in chat, those paper dividers and the walls and whatnot that make up Japanese architecture that you've probably seen in video games is called a shoji.
A shoji. Yeah, so the librarian basically fills you in on...
We're learning shit today. This is like actually the library.
Yeah. So like some people died in a fire, including the Mad King, who had a penchant for executing people. Nobody really cared when he died. When Gregor, the Chamberlain, died, who was supposed to sort of take over as Lord Protector while they sorted out another Helden, that was sort of the first sign that things were a little bit suspicious. Some other things. And then the librarian's like, yeah, I mean, the real bummer is that, oh man, it's like what? Like one day from the Red Moon, and, there's not going to be a Helden in the throne room with the trident.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Well, I mean, like, I think it's really just a ritual, because I've seen it hundreds of times, and I've never seen, Ontarok, Serpent of the Seas, emerge to be placated and agree to kill the storms again for another year. So that's probably not even what happens. I mean, it's not like I actually see the serpent or anything.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like... Well, I don't know, man. That could be real. I've seen, like, crazy shit, Like, I've seen, like, giant demon hands coming out of volcanoes and stuff. It was wild. So, like, maybe there is a serpent. Who knows? Yo, like, what is this? What is this seaweed?
She's like, oh, yeah. Gillweed. Yeah, people like to smoke it before they go for a swim. Kind of helps with that. But for me, it's all about the ambiance of having a fucking ocean in my head and just waving little kelp weeds right in front of my eyes. And before she said that, you didn't really see the whole waving kelp weeds thing? But it kind of looks like you have like a 360 kaleidoscope of like underwater flora in your eyeballs.
Yo, DM, I'll be like dead ass. I would never smoke this shit before going swimming. I would have the worst trip ever. What
Right.
you're describing too. I would freak the fuck out.
Right, so people do, but also it has effects that you haven't experienced yet because you passed that con save. So, side guy?
Can I just say that as a player, I'm so glad I'm not there as a character because that would totally disrail this adventure.
You just like,
High elf chick, you'd be like, so.
Why do you think my character closed the curtain?
Exactly.
Oh, or is bisexual.
yeah. So she's hanging out. You're smoking, and she's like, well, yeah. So about that hagiography, yeah, it totally burned in the fire. I think, except they did kind of like go in there and scoop up some books.
No, that's what we were thinking. There's like so many missing books.
Oh, really?
Like,
Because
what?
I thought they were going to give them all to you. Wow, that's wild.
No, they totally didn't. Are they gonna
Anyway.
like? It's not great. Yeah, so she's just gonna like go along with whatever the librarian says at this point. And...
She doesn't really seem to like. You get the sense that like she's an elf. She's been here for hundreds of years, and she's going to be here for hundreds of years more. And she does that by not really overly involving herself in who sits on the throne. So you get the feeling she's neutral. She's not going to get involved in this.
Sounds good.
But she also isn't going to not tell you things that she knows damn well Kirtan doesn't want you to know. Because
I'll be right back. I can hear everything you say, but I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, she doesn't. Twelve-sided guy is such a loser. Oh my gosh, you can't hear us say everything mean you can imagine.
No, I can still hear you.
Wow, 12-sided guy. Your face is a human face.
Wow, so lame.
I tried. I really tried. Yeah, so what do I roll to seduce her?
What do you roll to seduce her? That really depends. Are you gonna go for like the physical angle, in which case it's a performance to, I don't know, be like, hey.
I think you might
check-
just want to cuddle or something.
Okay, roll persuasion to be like, want to cuddle?
Yeah, alright. Let me do that. Because when she's high, she's definitely cuddly, as is the case with me. So, persuasion.
She's like, fuck yeah, get over here. And she kind of like scoots over and gesticulates for you to join her in the lounge.
Yeah, this is making me feel like super cuddly. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so Beak kind of like peeks in and like looks at you and he's like, "Ah!" and like peeks out. But so basically you cuddle, and Edwin has a grandy old time. His attempts to investigate haven't really worked out that great because everyone's really busy being out of it and partying, and everybody already knows what's going on, but he doesn't know what's going on, so he's in this really awkward position where he's at this party, he doesn't talk about anybody. Oh my gosh!
I don't know anyone.
But he can.
I've been there.
But he can perceive everything. So he sees this whole situation unfolding. He sees the priest being all drunk and kind of basically giving up on reciting the things about Antarak. You see everybody. You see money changing hands. You see people whispering in the dark corners behind the din of the party. You see that quite a few people have taken notice of the Crownbreakers arriving. Not least of them, a man with a horn. Oh, wait. It's a Tuskar.
So you just answered my question, actually.
A Tuskar in the corner. He seems to be directing people who come and go by various doors in the first and second story.
So now
Yeah.
you should explain to our four people in chat, one of which is me, but still, for the people that see this on YouTube later, explain briefly what a Tuskar is.
So, a Tuskar is a sentient race which has been run into several times over the course of this series. First appearance was, I believe, in Belm, in A Voice in the Sky, contract number 2. And am I really gonna scroll all the way down to it?
They're effectively the Gamorreans from Star Wars, except less generally ripped. Same idea, but less, less bulky and built overall. So cave people, kind of.
So,
They're like,
And there's a picture for those of you viewing on this on YouTube later, or who are in chat now.
yeah, so you see Half-Horn Joe. He's got 3 earrings, 2 silver in one ear, 1 gold hoop in the other. He's got a gold stud on one of his underbite teeth, and he seems to be dressed in some fancy black silk.
that is fancy.
Yeah, he doesn't see you stealing the fuck out of a whole bunch of drugs and loose money because you rolled a 22. You rolled a 25 to perceive. You rolled a 22 to
did I?
to do that. Yeah, but I will say that with a 25, as you are looking out through one of the second story windows, most of the windows have a screen slate down on them, but one of them's open.
Yeah.
Someone's opened it up to get some fresh air, and they're vomiting out the side, and over them going and splattering over the wood, and between the red and white flapping canvas banners under the candlelight, you see out into the mists a flash of golden light, and as you look at it, you feel the distant but still present sensation of perhaps if you were just a mile closer, you could feel a crowned up angel.
Oh.
Yeah. And both you and Aurora and Beak get a vague sense that there is a crowned up angel somewhere in the distance. Just as the librarian goes in for the full cuddle. She's got her arms around you.
So now I have a question as a player, since this is my second time around with Crownbreakers, is as a character, is there a particular appearance to this sort of flash that I would recognize, or is it generic enough that it's just a flash?
It looks like a radiant flash, which is, you as a Crownbreaker know the difference, and also for most people, a crowned up angel is blinding, you can't look directly at it. As a Crownbreaker you can, but it's so far away that you suspect that the mist and distance would dilute that effect if anybody else happened to be looking. But it's a tiny in the distance.
So I can assume that as a player, again, not so much as a character, although somewhat as a character, that clerics and paladins would be able to do somewhat the same?
Yes, however, you have a spidey sense for angels when you're within a certain range of them, and that expands when they crown up.
Okay.
Which is when they shed their vaguely human-esque form.
Yes, I recall that from the Featherlight feat.
Yeah, to become a crowned up angel.
Okay,
so,
I get it.
Yeah, so that's... So yeah, so you get there's just an itch in the back of your eye, and you feel you can almost feel the anticipation, the phantom pain of that sense you get when you're within an angel's distance. And
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, meanwhile, while upstairs, the librarian's this sounds kind of random, but have you ever had ambrosia? Like Milk of the Gods, that inspiring drink?
Oh shit, no, I don't think I have.
Oh, it's great. Well, Crownbreakers, I hear you guys have so much of it, but basically... Yeah, I hear it's so inspiring, I hear that they bottled that shit up and they had some in High on Helden, but I never found it, and I've lived there for literally centuries. Unless maybe it's in the dungeon, because I never go there, because, you...
Wait, alright, wait, here, listen to this. I've got a crazy idea, alright?
Yeah?
Maybe but, check it out, okay? What if you, snuck us into the dungeon and we, found the ambrosia and, we shared a bit, Wouldn't that be crazy? I feel like I'm vibing with you so much right now.
She's like, I would like love to, but like she gesticulates at the strangely carved stone pillars that seem to keep this place standing, even though it's completely weird, like carrot cord, massive stalactite. And she's like, you might have noticed there's some like really nice stonework around here, and not to knock alcoholic midgets, but my research has revealed that there were some dwarves who used to live on this island, and they were, shall we say, not cool with those of Fey ancestry, a bit discriminatory. So the lower reaches of the castle are kind of sent to go ding-a-ling if an elf goes down there.
Oh my God, you're so racist.
Racist as fuck.
That's so rude.
Yeah.
Wait, here's a great idea.
Harshing my vibe.
For real. Alright, but like, listen, what if you like gave us keys or something and we just went in, like neither of us is like elvish, and we just brought it up and we had a fucking great old time.
She's like, yeah, sure. I can't give you like my key because I don't want this getting back to me.
No, I totally get you, but like, is there some other key?
Well, I might know. Meanwhile, downstairs, Edwin notices a man who, while not wearing armor, people just seem to be giving a bit of a wider berth. Seems like he got a military cut to his jibe, and he is wearing a sword on his hip, and you recognize him from earlier. He's one of the men at arms, and he's drunk. He's not minding the key he's got in his pocket that you saw a glint of.
Well, so now I have a question before we get into this. Are they giving him a military berth or a military officer berth?
It looks like you think he's a man at arms. You don't think officers drink here.
Okay, fair enough. Totally get you. God, would...
More like you're kind of the fuzz, or if I punch you, you can bring your buddies, and I don't want that.
Okay, well, we only have a few viewers, so I'm going to ask our viewers, do you feel my character would steal the keys or not?
That's a great question for our viewers. Viewer engagement is very important here.
To be fair, I don't actually know with this character. He's got a shady history, but he's also got a history where he's turned around. So I'll leave it to the viewers while you two continue your scene.
Q Prime, what do you think? Should he steal the key, or is that out of character? Meta.
Your roles are a bit suspect.
You're not wrong there. I don't know what's going on with my roles. They are terrible. I have found that more often than not, Roll20 rolls on the low side, which is great if you're playing something like Warhammer 40k.
Oh yeah, or Ada.
Right? I blame Roll20. No, I'm totally with you. But that's not the question. Is would he attempt to steal the keys? In the meantime, please feel free to continue the scene.
Yeah, so the librarians basically just tells you, like, so there's this guy named Geoff. He's a man at arms, and he totally comes down here to get drunk because he thinks he's a bad boy. And yeah, he normally gets a little bit too messy. So you could probably lift his key. I mean, wouldn't be the first time. And then he just wouldn't report you because he doesn't want to get caught. And he would just do what he always does, which is steal someone else's key and then blame it on them.
That's crazy. Oh my god. I gotta tell my fucking... Yo, is Beak still outside, by the way?
Yeah, Beak is like, he's keeping watch, like, around you guys, like, in case anybody's getting too close. He's also, watching Edwin's crime spree approvingly. And just sort of, he throws you, like, 2 feathers up.
So at this point, Aura's going to be like, yo, like, give me 1 second. This is fucking great.
So, assuming Beak is a rogue, Beak and I can communicate via Thieves' Cant.
Yep.
Which includes hand signs, so we can communicate silently across this distance if need be.
Yeah, so she's going to pat Beak on the shoulder and be like, there's this guard named... So she's actually not as because she got that nat 20, she's actually not as faded as she's acting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's this guard named Geoff. He's like a total loser guy, and he's got some keys you should steal.
You say that to Beak Beak?
Yeah, that's what she says to Beak Beak.
Beak Beak looks at Edwin, having noticed Geoff, and he's like, cool, cool. I think Edwin's already on it. Cool.
Okay. So it seems like the situation
I mean,
is
I'd say,
decided for
yeah,
us.
I'd say Beak Beak will go down, will, like, take the health action. Like, all of a sudden, he will flutter down between stories, and that'll, like, catch people's attention. They're like, ooh, ah. And it'll kind of, like, draw eyes. So you have advantage on this.
Okay. So
And by the way, you got 12 puffs of the drug and 50 gold pieces.
Nice.
You
Oh,
also got old man Williker's will.
Oh shit.
I'll be honest. He's probably more interested in that than the gold and the drug. Oh, perfect. Put that in chat already. Thank you. So sleight of hand, eh? With advantage, yes.
Yes.
That roll.
So 20.
That's a far 20. Yeah, so you yoink that key.
Not a nat 20 though. Just so you know.
Yeah, Beak flutters down, takes a big gulp, and is like, ta-da, and everyone looks at him while you yoink the key, and he's like, yay. And, you have the key.
Okay, I'll give that to Beak Beak then, if I think he's capable of flapping back up.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, well then there you go.
Beak, you casually like palm at him or whatever when people aren't looking, he reascends. And,
I mean, a pair of rogues in a very drunk room, we can effectively operate without notice.
yeah. So you guys, basically take control of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Does Beak Beak indicate to me that he has the key?
Yes.
Okay, so Aurora's gonna be like, oh my god, guess what? We got the key.
Don't tell her.
We're on for this mission. We're gonna get you that fucking ambrosia. It's gonna be lit. She's pretty drunk.
So as a player, I'm asking this, not as a character. Because one, the character wouldn't think to ask this, but ambrosia, do I, as a player, think that's akin to, I think we've been calling it angel dust?
No. You know what ambrosia smells like instinctually when you become a Crownbreaker. It doesn't necessarily mean you've drunk it, but you know it is a real liquid, which is said to not be an intoxicant, but something that's just... It's they call it the milk of the gods.
Then. Okay. Again, as a player, I have no idea, so I'm learning this as we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So, anyway, she's like, "We are on. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so fun. All we need now is like an excuse to be in the castle. I think. You feel? Otherwise, I would be suspicious."
By the way, that's old man Williker's will. He bequeaths his donkey to his eldest daughter. Sorry, his donkey to his eldest son, his dinghy to his daughter, 12 silver worth of milk, in quotations, to his middle son, and what remains of the house goes to his youngest son, Bevan.
Can I just say I'm concerned about those quotations?
If you'd like to follow up on the story of old man Williker's will and what he's left to his middle son, you're free to.
I'm good. We'll adjust that later.
That's our new quest. Just kidding.
Quest acquired. Milk Run.
Fuck.
This is not Shadowrun, thank you.
Oh fuck. If only it were.
I love Shadowrun.
I do too. Anyway. Cyberpunk is my shit.
Yeah. So you guys have a lovely, 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 lovely time.
Yes.
And
Fantastic.
then you've stolen a bunch of shit.
Well, some shit.
And yeah, the librarian and you cuddle or whatever. Do you guys actually like, rest the night here, or do you like
I
take
think
off now?
Well,
I'm kind of
so
hoping that I.
are there rooms here?
Not very strongly delineated ones. More like there's like some like hangings and screens and such between areas.
So earlier you mentioned I got a view out of a window. Did I see a proper inn from that window?
Yeah, it looks like there's more than one tavern and some inns in the crags. The winds seem to have died down a
Okay.
bit if you want to go outside and make your way over to one.
Yes. While I am somewhat intoxicated and somewhat affected by the drugs, I do feel that having not participated directly, I'd have enough sense of mind to go purchase proper rooms.
Sure.
I think Aura is going to, if the librarian stays the night, she's going to stay the night in the lounge.
Sorry, I'm adjusting cam here and it's not going well. There we go. Well, I mean, that said, I would probably drag your ass and her ass over to the rooms, so I don't imagine she would resist.
Okay.
Well, the librarian is kind of like, yeah, I want to stay here.
Yeah, all right. Aura's going to stay with the librarian.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll pay for.
Elves are creatures of habit.
Fair enough. As a human, I don't get that, but fair enough.
Aura is a creature of wanting to cuddle right now.
I'll pay for the rooms regardless, in the assumption that they'll show up, and then when they don't, I won't even mention it. So.
All right. Beak goes with you to establish where the rooms are, and will.
Team Rogue.
He actually bothered to like walk earlier when there was like heavy winds, but now you're like 120 feet up from where the 7-tier stag is, so you're up at the Red Moon Inn. Vermintide reference, unexpected, and you have rooms, and he's like all right, and he hops out like the window and like flies down. He glides down to the 7-point stag, landing right beside someone who's hurling into the sea, and walks into the smoke coming out and gets himself some nice cured hams. Because again, you smelled meat in there, so he gets a nice meal, and to cap off his night, and
hey, that actually, thank you. That gives me a good idea. I'll prepare food for the hungover. Well, so they're at a tavern, so I assume they'll have food and whatnot. But just in case, and I'll subtract the gold later. I'll get food and whatnot made for the other two when they come to.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it. So
we have a job to do, and I need you two functioning. So.
Of course. Yeah.
So just put into chat or whatever how much gold I need to subtract, and we'll worry about the math.
Yeah, I mean, like, as in Crownbreakers, generally speaking, these are such small amounts, so don't bother.
Exactly.
Like, I was like 1 gold maybe for all your expenses of food and lodging. Yeah, this isn't one of those places that has like a local economy where you're actually gonna have to shell out. You guys are throwing around thousands of ducats like it ain't nothing. Well, I mean, not thousands, because that's how much you actually have to work with, but silver's nothing.
Well, so if you'll allow me a moment to sidetrack here, what plane of existence are we on?
So
a material plane?
Are we on the prime material, or are we on one of the lesser?
So you are on what appears to be a planet. It is mostly peopled by humans, although you've encountered a Triton and elves and dwarves.
Are we thinking basically like an extension of, for lack of a better analog, the planescape setting?
Kind of, but with Planescape, you normally go somewhere that's like kind of weird and plainsy. This is like a mundane material plane, but as a Crownbreaker, you perhaps once before becoming a Crownbreaker believed that there was a material plane and subordinate elemental planes and such like that. After becoming a
Yes.
Crownbreaker, you learned that
I mean, there are a bunch, yes.
there were many, and also that travel between them isn't as simple as casting Dimension Door. There are additional
Okay.
skeps, and what seems to be the nexus between them all is the Far Sky, where angels come from. You can't go there,
So,
but you do have ways and means of skirting it, letting you come to places like this.
so as a Crownbreaker, not to derail the game momentarily.
No, by all means.
I'm curious too.
But do I feel like this is, I wouldn't say a significant place considering that it is a small island in an inner sea.
Well,
But do I feel like this gets a certain amount of extraplanar travel? So here's
You
sorry,
haven't-
to
you
help
have-
your help your thoughts a little bit. Here's what I'm getting at: is I'm considering some sort of patronage while we're here.
looking for a patron?
No, sorry, I'm considering being a patron while we're here. But I don't know enough about the space to know if it's worth the consideration.
You know that it is it is at the intersection of continents and inland sea. There's a lot of trade that goes through here. So like things are cheap, but like there's a lot of trade goods and money going through. So, and you're also in the cheap side of town, you're in the crags. You could definitely see this being a place where a business enterprise could be worthwhile. It's not the sort of place where it's just like, here's a portal to the stars, but
No, which as a a Crownbreaker, I imagine I know from personal experience that a portal to the stars is exceedingly rare.
yeah.
Okay,
This is by no means some sort of dimensional hub. Generally speaking, Crownbreaker just sort of arrive and people don't really question where they came from. Or they're assumed they're just indigenous to this plane of existence.
This plane, yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So I'll save any of my questions then for later on, so we can kind of move things forward. We'll get a room, we'll get food, and then we can cut to Pat and the elf.
Yeah, it is the next morning.
Aura and elf.
Aura, in the morning,
Aura.
yeah, the librarian wakes up and she rubs her eyes. They're a bit blue tinged in the whites. And she's like, wow, yeah, oh man, I gotta get up to the library. I'm resorting all of the spell scrolls today.
Oh no, that sounds like tedious work.
Right?
Hey, so
I'll be right back. As always, I can hear you guys, so please continue.
that thing you said about the ambrosia yesterday, like, are you still down for that? Because honestly, I kind of am still.
She's like, I mean, I've never had ambrosia before.
I haven't either. I haven't even sniffed any.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, we don't want to do anything suspicious. So if you do manage to get it, just meet me back at the 7-tier stag, and don't be followed. Wink.
Midnight tonight, maybe.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit! Yes. Okay, but all right. Like, wait. One more question. Do you know if there's like a good way to get in? Because like obviously I don't want to raise any alarms that it's going to be like in and out. You know.
She's like, well, I've never been to the dungeon in all my hundreds of years here, but I do know that the guys who work down there right now, they love to like gamble and play dice, and I think they mostly just sit around doing that because like I don't think there's supposed to be anybody in the dungeons right now.
Okay. Cool.
Unless that's where if she's still alive, that's where she would be.
Oh, I'm sure she's dead by now.
Yeah, probably. It would be really stupid to not kill her.
Yeah. I'm sure that would be. Anyway, though, we should probably split ways and meet back here at 12, huh?
Yeah, so you guys, you leave the Crags, a bit of a criminal-looking place, and you're on the streets as they begin to become a better place, and I assume you head for the keep?
Before we leave the joint, though, actually, I think my character wants to buy a little bit more of that drug. How much is?
I'll give you the 12 I have.
In fairness, my character doesn't know that you have that. So how much is
No. But
time usage?
but if you give any suggestion that you want to,
So like
you'd
the
be
guy,
paying-
so like the bartender, she says it's 2 silver a hit.
Okay, so I hand him over.
A gold would be 5.
Yeah. So I hand him over 2 gold. Yeah.
You have 10.
okay, fair enough.
All right, and they're like counting up the money, and they're like, pleasure doing business with you. Come by anytime. What was your name again?
Yes,
gonna say it
what is
right
your
now.
name again?
It's hard to pronounce. You can just call me. Dusk.
Okay, Dusky Poo, you come back now.
Interesting. Yeah. So she leaves, and she meets up with Edwin, as everyone calls him.
Literally everyone. No one can
I'm
pronounce his last name
literally
because
intending to mispronounce your name.
but that's fine. He doesn't care. He's what, the 4th child of 7? He's used to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You guys arrive.
Yeah, so we meet up, and I explain everything I learned.
Okay. Now
To
you.
which he provides breakfast, and he's like, "So you had a good night."
Yeah, I did. That was fun. We should do this more often.
Bacon and
I
eggs.
should take some time off from Crownbreaking and enjoy my life. I've got some dosh, I just realized.
Right. Anyway.
Anyway, we've got a job to do. Back to business.
Exactly.
So she explains all that she's learned, and she also explains that there's likely to be either dead or alive some form of heir to the throne in the dungeons right now, and she might be the key to all of this. And
Yeah.
also we're going back at 12 with some ambrosia if we can steal it from the dungeon, to which we got the key.
To be honest, safe money is she's alive.
I think so too. This Triton guy was talking about an heir.
Oh, you did that too then, eh? Okay, I thought I liked you for a reason. Okay. And he doesn't even explain anything because he assumes she already knows.
Oh yeah, she does.
He doesn't know, but because you said it like that, he assumes that you likewise read lips and therefore know.
Affirmative. We are on the same page. So let us get to these dungeons then. Time to be sneaky.
The fog is thicker today. Closer. The people are looking a little bit miffed about it, but still in the celebratory spirit. There's rain. A heavy rain.
I'm sorry not to backtrack a little bit, but during the night, all things considered, as what's gone on, would there reasonably have been a time period to ask more about this festival, and therefore the
Roll investigate to see what you learn.
Okay. Oh, I think I rolled that already, and I did.
Well, I mean, again, like you at the tavern that you go to, right? We'll split it between them.
I think in order to save time, we'll say I rolled that 5 and I just did terribly. So let's just continue.
All right. You guys find yourselves in middle of the street. As the rain kicks up around this like low part of town that you're in as you're transitioning towards Heldon on High.
Oh, map change, folks.
Interesting.
Yeah, the commoners
so,
are being to like shelter in some places, and this guy sort of like takes down this alley to the courtyard and pulls up his coat around him. And yeah, this is the street.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there any graffiti or whatnot on the street?
There is a
Basically,
soaked banner with a red moon on it.
okay. Basically, was what I was going to get at with the series of questions is, as a thief with thieves' cant, are there like hobo symbols or?
So one, there is a hobo symbol at this place that this guy just went into, and it says, "Carts stop here."
Okay, fair enough, perfect. Which I won't bring up, but perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep. So you make down the street, and it's time to make a right. When a cold wetness comes over you, and you hear a shriek from around the way, and a scream.
What kind of shriek are we talking? Like human shriek?
Yeah, you wanna walk around this corner and see?
Oh yeah,
Sure.
no. As soon as you hear it, I bolt.
I'm gonna take a quick look. Is that perception? Oh, okay, I don't have advantage.
You just put your head all the way out and then walk all the way out, because that's what happens.
So, I have a question for you before I continue. Is what I'm seeing on stream and what I'm seeing on Roll20 are not the same.
So, because line of sight is on.
Okay. Well, it seems like my line of sight is actually dependent on Aurora, so...
Oh shit, do you not have sight?
I might not. It seems like it depends on where she moves.
Alright, so I gave you sight. And now I'm going to limit, because it must be, yeah, all players can control, because most of the people haven't joined the
Not a big deal either way. Just figured if it was
Yeah.
a big deal, I'd mention it. But
yeah, it's not a big deal, but I'll fix it. So yeah, you guys see a ghastly sight down the street.
Oh no. What has become?
Yeah, you see something. Terrible! A thick cloud of mist has descended, unlike the others, broken away into the middle of the street, and it seems almost to drain away at the humans there. One man, drops to the ground, and the mist seems to swell.
So, sorry not to interrupt you again, but weird question. As a player, less so than a character, is as a plane traveler, am I aware of Ravenloft?
No.
Okay. Had to ask, because mist like this, I get a little bit leery as a player. Just like,
Yeah, and then this woman fails her save. She plops down, and this mist seems to be a very, very healthy entity right now. Oh, wait, that was too much. And it seems like it's overhealing itself off of just draining the life out of things. And there's shrieks, and the fog is getting really close all around, and there's no way to tell the difference between this mist and the other mist. And is it all like this? Is it just descending to drain the whole city dry? There's a really weird feeling.
So I rolled an investigation. Does this have? I don't know if that was the right roll or anything, but does this have anything to do with angels? Does my character ascertain?
You don't have to roll investigation for that. This has nothing to do with angels. This entity before you is not angelic in any way.
Is this the storm? Interesting. So, all right, we're not paid to deal with this. My character says, but this seems kind of shitty, and it might catch us in the ass if we don't deal with it right now, later on. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Meek says, cool.
probably not, but I trust your judgment.
We don't know how many of them there are. Cool. We might get overwhelmed.
valid
target-rich
point, but you might
environment,
get overwhelmed.
I'm
if you
okay with
focus.
this.
We might get overwhelmed otherwise.
So you get the impression based on both the reply and the tonality to the reply that Edwin absolutely loves combat. So when Beak Beak mentions that you might get overwhelmed, and to which he replies simply a target-rich environment, he is perfectly okay with this. So if you guys don't do something to like hold him back, he will engage in combat, and you get that impression.
All right, Beak will just stay in the back when you guys rush in and like attack at range or something.
That's fair.
He's got his throwing stars. But yeah, so
I'm gonna be like, let's deal with this right now and get back to the angels afterwards.
okay, so you rush into battle towards the mist.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not gonna
so
rush
far
them,
there's nothing to, at least as far as I'm concerned as a player, nothing to prompt that necessarily. But he definitely sees the possibility for it and is prepped with both his dagger and his crossbow.
You fire 2 Eldritch Blasts down the street. Roll damage, both hit.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. There's my prompt right there.
You hear a terrible shrieking coming from the mist, and on what would be its turn, it flies up into the sky and rolls out over the buildings. As quickly as the storm or the winds came close, they leave. Now it begins to rain. The rain is murky.
Is it harming us?
No, it just doesn't look clean.
And you simply already understand that this is not angelic, yes?
This is decidedly not angelic.
People are starting to come out into the street and be like, "My God!" and like you know, trying to resuscitate people. The faces of the people who died. Well, actually, you don't know if they're dead or not. They're trying to cover them, but like they look like they were suffocated, and it looks like there's water coming up out of their mouths, almost like they were drowned.
Okay. So, as combat hungry as my character is, if there are random, for lack of a better term, civilians here who appear to be dead or dying, would I don't have any magical healing, so
Do you have this medicine skill?
I mean, I have some. I'm not proficient in it, but I have some levels in it.
You're not sure. You're not sure what you would do.
Based on my wisdom.
I'll character on back and say our job here is done. I think. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's much that can be done for them as far as you're concerned.
Okay, well, I feel like he would attempt regardless, and it is.
Oh, what the fuck?
Skill.
Did I already move you to Held on High?
I have no idea. I'm looking at like a patch of brown and then black, so I have no idea.
All right, yeah, okay. So down the street, you guys.
I can see more on Roll20 than I can on, more on Twitch than I can Roll20. But even on Roll20, I have no, even on Twitch, I have no idea what I'm looking at.
All right, so roll medicine to try and like help resuscitate them.
Okay. So many tabs. Here we go. Medicine. Sorry, I had advantage on 21.
You amazingly no, generally speaking, CPR, but you mostly just try and pump the water out of the lungs. This man rasps awake, although look at his eyes, he has a 1,000-yard stare, and his skin seems a bit unnaturally wrinkled, but his hair isn't gray, and he's like, "Oh, what?" And it seems like perhaps the life has been sucked out of him to some extent.
I mean, to be fair, if you look at Edwin's portrait, he's in his 20s, so basically Sam.
Well, so, but basically, both of them actually they managed to survive just by pumping the water out of them. Well, they seemed kind of dead for a while there, but they lived. And Beak Beak says, "Cool, cool. We need to get to the keep before they raise a high alert." Cool.
I trust Beak's intuition, as it were.
Hmm.
So while there are others who I assume I see could use reviving,
Well, you only saw the two people who got attacked.
oh, sorry. For some reason, I was under the impression there were more. But yeah, no, I trust Beak's intuition rather, not so much perception. So if Beak suggests we need to get to the keep, you can bet I'm using my monk speed and like dash to get there quickly.
Right, so you guys arrive swiftly, and you're basically here. You don't go to the entryway. You go to like a hallway, and you manage to. There are guards at the front entrance.
Should we do
They
like a
see you again, and they just don't question the fact that you've returned. But
No.
you're going off the beaten path of where you would go to approach for an audience. So now I would say a sneak is in order.
I'm gonna let him roll. Oh, oh, that's not a good roll at all. I think my character's still a little bit hungover. That sucks.
Sorry about that. I stepped AFK very briefly. I heard sneak,
Yeah, give us a sneak check. Because none of us are.
which thank God this is my thing.
This might be persuasion check, TBQH.
Advantage and sneak stealth. 27.
Ooh, wait, but why do you have advantage?
I forget why. Something to do with the monk features.
Like when sneak.
Well, so are we in bright light?
No.
Oh, well then yes, it's something to do with the Kensai. I forget which. Give me a second to scroll through.
So so you get a bonus when you're sneaking in bright light.
No, I have advantage when I'm sneaking in not bright light.
Yeah, the light isn't bright, so you have the advantage. Boom.
Yes.
So you managed to keep everything together and to get people down to the dungeon, despite of some noise and skidding of rocks. You find there are a series of cells here, and also two men dicing atop a barrel. While your previous methods have worked pretty well, it's going to be hard to get through this literal stretch of space without doing something extraordinary.
People, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, Trollside, I'd say you personally, Edwin personally, like the light like bends around him as a Kensai monk, and he can just you go over there, but
so
not a Beak and Aurora.
I have a question. Is on Twitch I see the map. On Roll20 I see pitch blackness.
Oh fuck! Yeah, because your old guy didn't have eyes. How about now?
My old guy. Oh,
I was copy pasting, not popping them out every time.
I understood. Yes, I can see something now. Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah,
I can see a hallway.
Yeah.
So now, and this is probably a little bit meta. Well, I say probably. It almost certainly is. As a spy, which is basically the criminal background, as my tool proficiency. I say that with air quotes because let's be honest, it's not really a tool. I took weighted dice.
Interesting.
Do I think I can use that here?
Wait, you've also got a calligraphy set. What if you real quick forged some papers saying you were the new guard and you want to
I like that thought. Realistically, that would take hours.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you know how to dice. I do. I'm not sure if they will.
Okay. I had to ask because weighted dice is an item, there's no mechanic for it. So I assume advantage.
Yeah. I think you take advantage on any sort of roll that you do.
Okay, so
Proficiency doesn't create advantage; it just means you get your proficiency bonus. I would probably.
No, I mean the fact that they're weighted.
Oh, the fact that they're weighted.
Yeah, it just says weighted dice. It doesn't really give you.
Yeah, so basically, you want to cheat. Yeah, you can go up there and cheat with them, but you'll have to get to that point.
Oh no, for sure. I'm just asking ahead of time so that we don't have to stop mid encounter.
Yeah.
So then, additional question at that point is that shift weave I spoke to you previously about. And by all means, say no. Don't feel pressured. I hate making a DM feel pressured. That shift weave I spoke to you previously about. Did I have time between the last?
Do you have it now?
Yes.
Yeah, you have it now. You have the shift weave now.
Okay, so one of the 5 outfits then would be costume, clothing, soldier.
All right, so you look like a soldier.
Yes, if I can, I would like to wander up to these folks looking like a soldier. Because I'm not gonna. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna be able to sneak by them.
Yeah. So what does the shift weave look like when it changes between whatever you're wearing and?
So the shift weave, I'll be honest, is super vague in its description. Effectively, you provide it with 5 outfits, and there's a lack of outfits in 5th edition versus like 3rd that it can conform to. So what I did was I gave it a formal version, a cleric version, a soldier version. Give me a second here.
No, it's fine. I don't need to. So that's not what I was. So okay, never mind. When Edwin
it just changes to an outfit.
So the clothing.
So generic soldier.
It looks like an ink blot has been dropped onto his clothing, appearing out of nowhere, and then it ripples out, spreads almost like a fire coming across parchment at the edges, and as it moves, the shape, color, and texture of it change, traveling along his body, and now he's no longer dressed as you had known him to be dressed, but rather in a soldier's garb.
Generic soldier, right?
Beak coos approvingly.
I probably stand out a little bit since it's not a uniform.
Yeah, it's not precisely theirs, but yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you feel like posing disadvantage, I would not object by any means.
All right, so you want to stroll in there, and what's your play?
Well, so let's roll up first and assess the situation.
Oh well, they see you. They were dicing.
I'll walk up like I belong there.
All right. They kind of look at you questioningly, and then like after you get like out of the barrel, someone's like, "Are you new here?"
Actually, yes, I am.
They're like, "Oh, cheers. Well, I'm Bev, and this here's Greg." He's like,
name's John. Thank you.
All right then, John. Fancy roll of the dice. As you know, you don't get paid too much around here, so we're playing for coppers. But
oh god, yes, yes, please. I could certainly use some extra coppers.
All right. You hear as like they like go to dice some more. You hear like a maniacal cackling coming from down the hallway, and you see like a radiant sparking from the final cell on the right. And Bev's like, "Oh, don't mind her. She's always like that. Just be careful you slide the tray around the corner. Don't want to be caught with the old Eldritch Blast."
So, I didn't catch his name. I don't think he ever told us his name. The one man at arms.
Jorgen?
Yeah, no, we did get his name. We got his last name.
So you stole Jorgen's key, yes.
Right, yes.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy with the black and gold shield from earlier. We got his name.
Well, it doesn't much matter who. I'm effectively what I'm going to imply and let them infer should they wish to is that I was not told much,
Uh-huh.
and then let them fill in the blanks should they feel inclined.
Yeah, okay. They're gonna be
Because again,
basically.
my character tends towards saying as little as possible because he knows
Yeah,
it'll get
Bev's
him
gonna
in
be
trouble.
like, "Oh well, that's a real touchy subject," and Greg's like, "Oh, yeah, might touchy subject. I mean, I thought we were gonna," and then Bev's like, "Hey, that's not ruin the mood." Anyway, let's roll, and it's Dyson time. Can you give me a any wisdom skill that you are proficient in?
Oh, any wisdom skill,
It's a
let's
proxy
see.
though, so like
It's
features
Dex. That's
specific won't matter.
Dex. That's any of the good ones are Dex. So I
Okay, so I would
suppose
say
let's
I'll give you dexterity if this is more about physically manipulating the dice.
Well, I have. So I'll be honest. I don't think I could break out the weighted dice without them noticing.
That you were using their
Given,
dice, your own dice.
yes, given
Yeah,
given that I'm sitting in front of them right now, I don't feel I could
yeah.
break out the
This
weighted
is gonna be
dice.
more of the gambling. Yeah, so just roll any whiz
Ex-
skill you're proficient in, and we'll call it the gambling roll.
So would you like a straight wisdom then?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll give you a straight wisdom then. With or without advantage?
without.
Okay, straight wisdom then. Nat 20.
Wow. So you don't necessarily get the best luck, but you do always know when to press and when to fold, and before long you are clean up. And Greg's like, "Ooh, too stiff for my blood," and Bev's like, "Damn right, you're clearing us out, Joe." Oh, and then you hear an electrical, and they're like, "Oh well, normally we would roll, we would roll to see who's gonna have to deal with that, but I
So here's what I'll do then before he gets to continue. Is I'll say that it's I'll call it beginner's luck because it's my first day. Return their money to them and suggest that. Oh, I don't even know what I'm going to suggest here.
they're floored.
I'd like to influence them so that I can bring the others through without them paying too much mind. But without tipping my hand that I'm not supposed to be there.
Well, okay, so they were talking about going upstairs to get food for her.
Oh, okay. I cut
So,
you off. I'm so
right. So
sorry.
do you want to just let them do that?
Yes.
All right.
In which case,
They
I'll
are
keep their
floor.
money too.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, I think can we just say that Beak and I make ourselves scarce before that?
yeah. You guys like hide around a corridor, and then after they pass by, after Greg and Bev pass by, you're just in the dungeon. You don't know how long you have. You don't know how far the kitchens are from here, but yeah. You guys you hear like a cackling and see like what you recognize to be radiant eldritch blasts coming through
Yeah,
the
this is
bars.
definitely like some sort of celestial warlock at least, or some deal. But either way, we gotta go check this shit out. I'm gonna do a quick investigation check to see if I can find. Ooh, would I have advantage on this because I can smell ambrosia?
Yes.
I'm looking for that ambrosia.
You notice that one of the pavers in the back of the cell right across from where the guards stand is a little bit what a mask.
Oh, nice.
Is a little bit ajar, and you can smell a smell that you're very familiar with. The smell of angelic weapons comes off your angelic weapons. It comes off of angel dust. Comes off of angels. But this is different. It's more like a physical liquid. You smell ambrosia.
Perfect. I'm gonna steal it.
You swipe a half full bottle of ambrosia, with 2 out of 4 swigs remaining. It is a white, like thick white, milky white, crystalline, like long necked bottle with a fat base, and it is made of only the finest of what looks like perhaps ivory, but more like marble in some ways. And within, it's a white glass, is 2 swigs of ambrosia.
Okay, cool. That took like probably 5 seconds. What about this this one on over towards the warlock?
You want to peek your head around the corner?
Yeah, I'm gonna be like friends. We're friends.
You see a noble woman in what is now ragged finery. Her eyes are orbs of light. Radiant energy crackles along her hands. Her fingernails are about 5 inches long. They split into 3s at the end, and golden lights dance between them. Her hair flies up and down as if though on its own, and her very veins seem to pulse with a pure white light.
Funky. That's not a department right now.
And she
We're
says,
just free animals.
"Oh, if we're friends, then what's my name?"
You're the air person, the Herman.
She's like, "I don't know any
So would I roll
Hermans."
a memory, or
You
God,
guys
what would
actually
that memory
didn't.
be?
Nobody ever mentioned her name.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe
She's
it was
kind of a
including
secret
the
child
nurse.
because
No,
she was
okay.
imprisoned for most of her life.
We don't know your name,
well-
but we do know where you're from.
None
And
of
you're
she,
from
So,
the people that
so
we're
now
finding.
based on that, I have to ask more so as a player than a character so I can follow. Because you did mention one earlier. Is this a separate child?
no, it's that child. It's that very inbred, kept locked under house arrest child.
Oh, because you did mention it, and I'll be honest, I'm terrible with names. So, I mean, if I need to make a roll at disadvantage for that fact, I totally will. Because you did mention one earlier, the heir that you said would be stupid if they kept alive.
Did I say her name?
I believe you did.
Because I really don't remember that.
I'll be honest, I'm terrible with names in general.
Roll give
So,
100
Does,
Even if
chat, do you
you-
remember me saying her name?
So even if you did, I wouldn't recall because there are days where it takes me a little bit to remember my name.
That's fair. But I mean, she'll proffer her name after you. What do you say to her? Danielle, give me that. Pat.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
liberating you. We're freeing you. We're
Alright.
gonna restore your dynasty.
Alright, well, she's like, excellent. Welcome to the service of Ayala Helden. And, like, golden lights fly around her fingers. And then she clamps both of them onto, like, the lock of her cell. And you see, like, an Eldritch Blast beam form between her hands. And then a single wisp of black smoke emerges through the, like, lock between her thumbs. And then she takes her hands away, and the lock clatters to the ground. She sort of pushes it open, and she's like, I was waiting for your arrival. This is the prophecy. This is the foretold day.
Don't know
So-
about any of that, but we really gotta stop serpents and shit. Like,
Don't
We got-
worry, your pretty little head. I am Ariala, Herald of the Storm.
I don't think you said her name now that you say it out loud again, but I do think you mentioned her quote-unquote title.
Oh, did I? I thought, I think I might have
think
mentioned something
so.
about a prophecy that has a
The
similar
name doesn't ring a bell now that you say it out loud, but the Herald of the Storm does.
Yeah, she clacks her overlong fingernails together and they make little gilded sparks. And she's like, oh, when does the killing start?
can we start with like the angel?
And she's like, oh, yes.
Is that that's your patron? No, I'm like you, kind of different patron.
She's like, patron?
Never mind. Don't have to think about it. Let's
Okay.
just
So,
get this
sorry,
angel.
I hate to keep interrupting, but I have another question for you, Lee.
We gotta get to this fight,
Is-
fam.
No, I feel you. So I'm gonna try to keep it brief. Obviously, is as a player, I remember the last groundbreaking hunt I went on as a character with the hand and everything. And the character's a little leery about just jumping into this sort of thing now without having some idea as to what the ramifications are. We don't have any reason to believe as characters now that effectively getting rid of this angel is gonna like seriously fuck things up, do we?
You have an indication. I'll just go ahead and tell you this. You have an indication that if a member of the Helden bloodline does not get that trident and perform the ritual to appease Enterok,
that would have ramifications.
and the red moon comes, you get the feeling there's going to be some ramifications, some of which you've already seen begin to manifest.
Oh, okay. Well, then, fully on board then. Let's go, 100%.
All right.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. So let's get that trident in her hands and let's kill an angel. Do all the shit. Come on. All right. So we have to roll.
Yeah, you have to roll stealth to get Ardiala out, and she's not very quiet or discreet.
Or we won't get out alive.
She's like, oof, I've been told to be quiet for too long. Now my victory is at hand, and the bloodletting begins.
Bloodletting can't begin if we don't get out of this dungeon, girl.
No, who's screaming?
Yeah, in fairness, Aura's not very sneaky herself.
Alright, so Aura is not going to carry that stealth check, I tell you that.
Y'all might want to...
Suppose I should.
Hey, Beak.
Beak manages to find a way out through a window where you guys can climb down some rocks, and it ain't no thing. By the way, she seems like she's been burned.
Who? Oh.
Ariala, it looks like she's close to half HP.
Okay.
I do not have any healing capabilities.
I would offer a healing potion, but I didn't ask Lee prior to the invention if I would have time. Sorry, adventure.
Yeah.
If I would have time, so I'm going to assume no.
Yeah, we can do the shopping in between, but yeah, so basically...
I always have...
You guys are outside of Helden on high. You have a fairly volatile asset with you. It seems you hear boots coming in your direction, armored boots. It sounds like there's been a bit of a general hue and cry, and some people yelling, "Get to the keep! The king wants us, all of us. We're supposed to get ready for something." So it seems like all of the guards are coming the opposite direction of the way that you're going. Beak does manage to shimmy around to the side. Do you go towards the crags or towards North Point? North Point is the ritzy part of town.
Is North Point the place where the Trident ceremony usually happens? Also, the Trident was...
The Trident ceremony happens in the throne room that you were in, that the king was on the throne.
We saw a flash from the angel earlier. Which direction of those two would that angel flash have been in?
Southeast.
Let's go southeast. Out in the water, though, is that kind of where we saw it?
Yeah, so the Crags does have some slips. Mostly not like it's not a harbor, but there are rafts and fishing craft here.
Let's go. Sail out into the sea.
All right, do you want to just jack somebody's tied up boat?
Is it a seedy part of town?
It's a very seedy part of town.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the rental option first before I try to depend on background because I've never been here before. Can we safely assume that there's someone we can pay gold to in order to just like rent a boat or buy a boat?
Yeah, one of them looks at you and he's like, 10 gold.
You know what? Given circumstances and how much gold we have, I don't even care. 10 gold.
He sees it, he bites all of it, and then he runs away. He's like, there's the boat.
In fact, 15, so as to forget who we are.
I have no idea who you are. And yeah, so
exactly.
He takes off with that MF money, fam.
We're totally stealing a boat, aren't we?
The mists are coming in closer. The rains are getting heavy. It's
well-
time to paddle, Fram. You ready for those
Alright.
strength
Fair enough.
checks?
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh,
Just strength check.
I'm good at this. I swear, I'm totally not.
I don't think this is my forte either, so let's.
Normal.
That's not bad actually. Oof, ouch.
So
Alright,
5.
so Aryala, spurred on by the dawn of her victory, is paddling pretty hard. Aura does a good job. Beak a little bit less.
I'm pretending to paddle.
Yeah. So, you sense, as you get out, you start to sense an angel out there in those mists. And then, just as you feel them growing within a mile of you, they crown up. The flash is too far away to damage you, but you do see it in the distance. You are basically on what amounts to a dinghy. You're out around the wreckage of broken boats, up on various jagged rocks, and up swoops, or in swoops, an angel. You are pretty certain that this is Magavisha.
So again, more so as a player than a character. So feel free to deny me the answer if you feel it, because I should read up more on this. Do I feel like we have any opportunity to talk to this angel, or are we just going to engage in combat?
They've literally duped a contract giver into believing they killed an angel who they actually conspired with before. So there is precedent with Aura to not kill the angel. That being said, she doesn't exactly advertise that fact, because if people find out, they're not going to hire you anymore.
No, fair enough.
Well, the contract was, technically speaking, just so that if you make sure that ships can come in and out, we'll pay you. Is what he said when you saw him.
Well, and if you recall from the last adventure, my character prefers not to fight an angel if he can help it, because he's a rogue and a monk by nature. He's very good at like stealth and ranged attacks.
Yeah,
He
and there is an Avenger before you wielding the God Ray Trident.
Well, exactly.
Descending
So
from
he's
the
like,
stormy
if we
winds.
can talk our way out of this, ideal.
Yeah, so Magavisha sees Aryala and says, "Child," a note tones. The celestial engines embedded in your brains and your tainted bloodstreams begin to wind and whir, a pipe organ of celestial music, the scent of ambrosia overwhelming all your senses, and you hear far more in your minds. The recounting of the ages, of the Helden household's long relationship, of how the Avenger has faithfully returned to ensure that so long as the Heldens do not hold their keep, no ship shall leave that island.
Oh.
And Aryala steps forward and says, "That's well and good, but why don't we go in there and kill the usurper instead?" And the angel thinks about it for a second. And the angel demurs. The angel's like, "That's not what I promised your forebears. I don't think it's wise to shed blood in the throne room."
Does it have to be a hermit who uses the trident to dissuade the serpent from?
Do you ask the angel that? Or
Yeah.
do you... Magavisha says... Magavisha basically, like, a tone comes out of Magavisha's mouth. And in your mind's eye, you see someone else grasping the trident. But they're not quite attuned. They begin to, however, gain control over the waters. They begin to bring forth pyres of salt water. They begin to let loose blasts of balefire. but it starts to take a hold on them. Just as they attune to the trident attunes to them. The God Ray is not without a cost. To wield it is a
So-
burden.
Does it require angelic blood?
Magavisha coos and says, Rathael's get always so resourceful.
Could you then dissuade the serpent from causing these storms?
Magavisha says, you misunderstand. If my hand were free, I would drive this trident between Ontarok's eyes, and twist until it all snapped.
And why aren't your hands
The
free?
music grows discordant here, tremoring. You see almost notes and glyphs, golden, floating around him. They waver and snap, cracking apart like a violin string ripped at its greatest point of tension. And Magavisha is angry now, feeling its anger towards Ontarok. Says, the law is greater than receiving justice. I give the law.
Well, it's all fine and good, but we've got two problems here. Ships aren't leaving this port because this woman is not in charge.
I am bound to ensure this remains until the Heldens ascend the throne.
Gotcha. We got that part. Second problem is this whole place is going to be wiped off the map by these storms when they come because Entourage is going to do what the hell Entourage wants because there's no Hellman to stop Entourage. So,
It is forbidden that I grow any closer to the city.
got another strange question for you. Hope you don't mind. Are you like the baby daddy kind of deal here? Some sort of-
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I totally did catch it.
Is there like a baby daddy kind of deal?
So Magavisha raises the God Ray Trident, raise the waves and sends the debris to your right, like just clattering up into the sky and flying everywhere. A board narrowly misses slapping your ship, and you feel in your mind, do not trifle with me, Crownbreaker.
I'm just trying to determine whether we have to kill you or not.
Ha! Try. I shall not fail to dispatch my duty.
Well, we don't either, so.
Well then, do you test your mettle against me,
We
bloodlings?
don't have to be at an impasse right now. Captain
I
Lee.
am bound by my word, Crownbreakers. Can you say the same?
No, I can't. I follow my heart.
And where does that lead you? Chaos and disillusion.
Disillusion, sure, but for the most part, just kind of general neutrality.
So while the character won't actively say anything, when you speak up about following your heart versus like your duty, the character will visibly appear dismayed at that.
So at this point, Aryala chimes in and she's like, Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah?
You can't get any closer to the city. Magavisha cocks their head. But I can. And Magavisha begins to understand. And then she reaches out her hands. And Magavisha raises up the trident, throws it. It begins to spin in midair. And then it gently falls down and lands in her hands. She grasps it tightly, and immediately you see her back grow a little bit hunched, and then a terrible cracking and spurting noise as she grows 1.5 feet in an instant. Her thrice split nails have turned to singular daggers. Her hair is a storm. Her eyes beaming spotlights. Oh, and now the blood begins. Magavisha says, I retrieved this relic for your family when it was lost to the seas, at great cost and unfortunate collateral damage. However, now that it is returned to you, I trust that you will soon return to your rightful place.
Can ships keep doing their thing? Are we done here?
He says, until she sits the throne, none may pass.
Alright, putting us in a hard place here, Angel.
Ariala's like, that's fine. She begins to spin the trident like it's a captain's wheel, and the water around you forms a mini whirlpool that rotates the ship. And she just she slams it into the baseboard. It cracks, begins to sizzle a little, and you just feel like a jut of water is firing off behind you. And you are speedboating back to the island. And she's like, ha ha ha! My destiny awaits!
That's great. Don't suppose your destiny involves paying us what we would have gotten for killing that guy.
I mean, if she takes the crown,
I will knight you all and shower you in riches.
On second thought, let's just not throw our names out there on this one.
Do you even know my name?
Riches are good. No need to knight us, though.
Yeah,
Phil?
so the men at arms and the knights have gathered.
No, go on this plan.
The Kyran, the Sea King, and his knight are sort of like debating what to do. They see the stuff going on outside. Aryala is going to be found in the hallway by the Knight of House Daggermark, who immediately falls to one knee and says, "My queen." She walks up to him, puts the trident to his throat, pokes him a little, some blood falls. She manipulates it such that he is forced to gaze upwards at him. She looks in his eyes and she says, "You were always such a kind one." Then she retracts it and says, "Are you ready?" And the Knight of House Daggermark inclines his head and says, "I shall fight until my duty is done, here or in any hell." And she says, "Good, because where we're going, it's a hell of a lot lighter." And they're about to kick in the doors of the fucking throne room and commence a, what one might call a darker and edgier Phantom Menace throne room scene. How do the Crownbreakers feel about that? You were hired to kill an angel.
Well, so
I'm using my mask of many faces to cast disguise self on myself.
let's be honest. We were hired to make sure the ships can go in and out.
You're gonna make sure of that.
Oh god, so...
It's generally a bad bit of reputation if people find out you killed the guy who hired you if you're a Crownbreaker.
What if we just did?
So,
We've made a fucking mess
I have
of
a couple questions on that. Is one, given what happened last adventure with the giant hand, as a character, what do I feel my reputation is currently anyway?
That's actually a no harm, no foul situation. Crownbreakers are not liable for anything that happens because they killed the angel, as long as you break crowns. Individual people might kind of care, but really the strength of your reputation is just, did you break the crown? Answer yes?
So second question is while I've previously been a career criminal, I've had a turn of heart. As a character, do I feel that the contract was to break the crown or to make it so that ships can go in and out?
The paper kind of said, like, hey, come down, I have an angel problem to deal with. And then he said, "What I will pay you when the ships can come in and out." So implicitly, the job was to make sure ships could come in and out.
Okay, so as both previously a career criminal who evolved into something of a spy, while the reputation sucks, I feel that the implicit wording is more important. Much like the angel, where it's law versus justice. I'm gonna go in on the wording here and feel like this is okay.
All right.
I'm still gonna disguise self on this. I don't feel comfortable about anything that's happened, but I
I envy your ability to do that, because I'm pretty sure, looking much like a Warhammer 40k Inquisition, I stand out.
Yeah, Beak is gonna look around like, cool. This is an interesting turn of events. Cool. No angel dust on this one, I
I did
guess.
not intend this. My character says to Beak. This was not good.
Well, we'll probably get a lot of shinies out of it. Cool. So, yeah, you guys are here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be involved in a coup d'etat right now.
Yeah, the men-at-arms. Aryala kicks in the door. The knight of House Daggermark draws his blade. Kyran points his trident at him and says, "Traitor!" And that in that one voice from the new Star Wars movies, all of the men-at-arms draw their blades.
Do it.
And it's, Aryala basically just says, "Get ready to die."
So now, before you get too far into that, I'd like to point out that on Roll20, I'm still looking at a C map.
As am
Fuck
I.
me. I did not move you to Held on High.
Yeah.
There
By
we
the way,
go.
my disguise is like an older guy with a mustache,
Excellent. What kind of mustache?
handlebar.
Hell yeah. You guys can deploy anywhere in this gray box, and Knight Commander.
I mean, so who is this? Is a who is this person right here?
Who is what person? That is the Knight of House Daggermark. From
Based
earlier.
on the earlier interaction, do I feel like he's an enemy or an ally? Well,
No, he's the guy who they found in the hallway, who she found in the hallway, and she had Neo, and she kind of like cut his throat and moved his head, and she was like, "I always liked you," or like, "You were always so kind," or something like that. So it seems like she's decided he's on her team, and he has gone along with it, and he knelt. His reaction on seeing her was to kneel.
okay.
These people's reaction is to draw their swords.
Well, that's very important, because, as you know, I am a ranged fighter primarily. So I was like, well, depending on where he is, I'd have to determine where I am. So I'm going to stay where I am for the rest of this combat. Well, for now. So yeah, that's why I had to ask.
Yeah, let's I guess let's get those initiative rolls or something, because I guess we're just kind of in this coup now.
Yep. I think it's balls to the wall time, fam.
Yeah, let me. God damn, I always forget that.
God darn it!
This is going so hot, so wrong. 9. Okay.
Yeah, and you are not much better than me.
No, not really.
Which, considering like a
and
2 points.
He's an older guy. I'm drawing him right now, actually. What I'm disguising himself as.
Oh yeah, I would say she looks like she's kind of been bulked up by taking on that spear.
Okay.
So she's not gonna like die quickly. She's no longer a tortured and imprisoned and half burned noble child. She is a woman of towering stature with the god ray motherfucking on her. She keep that MF thing on her. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Word. Word to the word.
I've done one good roll tonight.
Yeah, basically.
This is why I prefer physical dice over Roll20, because I found Roll20, well, not consistently, but it statistically and probably it rolls on the lower side.
Right,
Is
so
great for things like
unfortunately, Knight Commander Rutan gets his move off first.
it's fine.
He is going to move 30 feet. He is going to use leadership.
Ooh.
This is what she looks like right now.
Mr. Handlebar Mustache, you're so fucking quick. That is his leadership aura. And he is just charging in here, and he's used leadership as his action. He's giving commands so his boys will be fighting better. And now his boys from right to left are going to move. So this guy, staying within 30 feet of his commander to get the advantage. Actually, what is the limit on that? Okay. Of it makes an attack, oral, or saving throw. Creature adds a d4. Okay, so it's not advantage, it's adding a d4. So this man-at-arms swings his longsword. That is a hit even without the dice. He does 4 slashing damage to the Knight of House Daggermark. This guy comes in, does same thing. 14, yeah, even with a full d4, which he gets, that misses. This guy up here is going to charge right at Aryala. Actually, he's not going to charge Aryala because he's afraid of her. He is going to charge Aura. He is going to swing his longsword at her. A 14 doesn't hit you, does it? Nope. This one comes up to Aryala. He swings. And I'll have the other one swing as well. The other one will hit. So some of her blood goes flying, and she hisses at him, clacks her teeth, and
she's feral.
it is Kyran, the Sea King's turn. He strides forth with a haughty arrogance, and he shouts, "Whoever brings me her inbred head will become the new ward of North Point." And it is Auru's turn.
Okay. Well, let's see. Probably best to deal with the fuckers right in front of me. Well, actually, yeah, okay. There's really no way to do that without. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast the guy right in front of me, and I can do it twice. Did that roll twice? Yes, it did. Does that hit?
Yeah, the first one hits, the second one does not.
Okay. 7 damage. Does that help me at all?
Yes. So he seems to recoil from the blow. He's still standing, but badly wounded.
Okay.
There's blood coming out from under his dented armor.
Next time I level up, I gotta take that one that pushes people back. Fuck. I can't disengage or anything, can I?
So that was your action. You still have your movement. As long as you don't break engagement range, he doesn't get an op on you.
That.
So if you wind up here, he does. That would give your knight advantage on attacks against that guy.
Right here?
Yeah. Because now you're flanking. Yeah. And now the Knight of House Daggermark gets advantage. All right.
Well, let's do that.
Edwin, there is an absolute clusterfuck playing out ahead of you. Kyran, the Sea King, is holding back. He is waiting to see how this turns out. He's assessing how strong his opponents are. Knight Commander Rutan is giving orders to make his men more effective. He's probably going to wade into combat either next turn or the one after.
So on that, which do I feel is more of an immediate threat? Sea King Chiron or Knight Commander Rutan?
The most immediate threat is Knight Commander Rutan because he is giving those D4s to his men's attacks and saving throws.
Okay. So in that case, I would like to make a ranged attack for Knight Commander Rutan.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring up my character sheet here.
Yeah, this might go without saying, but everyone's wearing like plate and mail and like high ACs all around. People have shields and shit.
Yes, which is why I'm very happy I took the swashbuckler subclass, so I don't require advantage to make my sneak attack. But given that there's nobody to give me advantage, I will not take the snipe feature to increase my damage, because chances are I will not hit him at all. So I will just make a standard attack with sneak. 15?
Does not hit.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Do you have a second attack?
Oh, yes, I do.
So the hand crossbow is loading, but do you have another one, or you have a dagger in the other hand or something?
Well, I have a dagger, but I can also ignore the loading property.
Oh, because you have that. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
Yes.
So you just reload. You're like, ting, ting. You're the John Wick of hand
Yes.
crossbows.
Yes. Unfortunately, it means I ignore sneak attack for this particular attack, but man. 19 hits, I assume.
Oh, I didn't see it pop up yet.
It's...
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, 19 does hit. Roll damage. All right.
10.
You pierce his armor, and he recoils as the bolt punches somewhere around his shoulder.
Cool. So what I'd like to do is spend a key point, if I can, with your permission, to make a second attack to do the same thing again.
I thought key points mostly manifest as fury of blows for extra attacks, or...
But because I am a Kensai, I can do it with any Kensai weapon, and one of the requirements of Kensai weapon is to pick one ranged and one melee.
Okay, so it's basically like a ranged flurry of blows.
Effectively, it's a little weird to read because it requires that you pick one ranged and one melee, and that those weapons count as monk weapons. Which
but basically, you've trained with that weapon. It's a monk weapon. Congratulations, you can pop it.
Yes, basically yes. So I'll spend a key point.
Hey, Jade.
Pop that down.
Indeed. So they decided to maybe not break the crown and instead
13?
help a Mad Queen ascend her throne.
Which I imagine 15 didn't hit, 13 definitely won't. So
yeah, so that misses. The Knight of House Daggermark, seeing the tactical advantage given to him by Aura, this is what Aura is pretending to look like.
Oh, let's see the picture.
Yeah, I'll leave that one. So that's the handlebar mustache, everything very nice, sketched up right in this instant.
Oh, what's Aurora pretending to look like?
Yeah, so the House of Daggermark is going to swing his great sword twice. So
maybe
that's
it's the alcohol, but for some reason I thought you were talking about the princess.
The first slash crashes down into this man-at-arms shoulder armor and then through his body. He hits the ground dying, and he's like, ugh. And they're like, "You bad bastard traitor, how could you?" And he's like, "How could you stand by and let them burn him alive?" They're like, "He killed my cousin." And House Daggermark's like, "It ain't right." And he makes his other attack that is going to hit the guy in front of him for 10 slashing damage. So he's wrecking around. He's just flailing on people with his two-handed sword. It's Aryala's turn. She doesn't really seem to care about people attacking her physically. She points down range and she's like, "You scaly fuck! I'm gonna burn you alive!" and she looses a torrent of motherfucking balefire downrange, splat right between Kyran and the Knight Commander.
Oh, shit. I'm so glad that the Onion Knight is on our side, by the way.
Onion Knight.
Nice. So okay, yeah.
Now I can't help but picture that.
So
Thanks.
Knight Commander Rutan is burnt to a literal ashy crisp. He looks like what people look like when there's a normal person and the ash flash happens on a crown. So where their Knight Commander was is now a pile of ash. And Kyran Seeking has just taken 44 points of damage. Ayala's arms seem to have twisted and grown more gangly from this. And why did Aryala go with it? 10, 9, 8, 4. Okay, yeah. Fuck me, I forgot to roll for Beak Beak. At this point in time, Beak Beak is going to probably step over this corpse, come around this guy, and then slide a flanking blazing rapier right behind him.
Nice.
Sadly, that's not going to hit. So, and I will put him in at also 4. So yeah, all y'all's turn. It's Kyran no, it's not Kyran the Sea King's turn yet. You all hear a terrible serpentine scream.
That's not
And
good.
now you see a figure, a serpentine crescent figure, rising in the full red moonlight in the distance. You didn't realize how long it had been moving through the city, evading capture, keeping Ayala hidden. With the overcast, it was hard to see the turn of night and the turn of day. But now, as the sky turns red, you see Ontarok in all its giant serpentine glory. Ram its head against the invisible field at the edge of the forest, at the end of the throne room, and you see golden cracks begin to form in this unseen field, glowing there. Each ram making more and more of them, like it's trying to punch through. It's now Kyran's turn. That was the end of the round.
I want to make sure I understand as a player, but as a character as well. So my understanding is that so long as whose name I forget, I'll be honest, isn't on the crown, that Antorok rather, is an issue if she's not on the throne.
She is more than okay. Angel isn't a problem once she's on the throne. Ontarok is not an issue if she uses the trident to perform the ritual.
Right. Yes. Sorry. Okay, I'm caught up now. Sorry. Please continue.
All right, Kyran the Sea King sees this sea serpent behind him. He's just been balefired though, so he's like, all right, I gotta get up here and finish this shit. So that's 1 hit, dealing 7 damage. It is Aura Dusk's turn, or whoever the old man she's pretending to be's turn. The men at arms around are breaking, so they don't go on this turn because the radiant blast, the balefire, destroyed their Knight Commander, and they are in disarray. On the next turn, Kyran begins yelling at them, and next go round, they will act on Kyran's turn. So who are you shooting with that?
I'm going to Eldritch Blast the one closest to me. That's right there. Assuming the one hits.
You deal significant damage.
Fantastic. That's my turn. Well, there's no better place for me to be, is there?
Well, you now can't in break engagement range with this guy, or else he will op you. So.
Right. So I mean, yeah, I'll just stay right there.
Edwin.
Right. So let me take a quick peek at the map here. Now I'm having, this is the princess, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So in that case,
That's our
I will
y'all.
move here and attack this one with my dagger. Where is it here? So at advantage because I don't require sneak attack. So 24 to hit. A whopping 4.
All right. Don't you get sneak attack though?
Oh yes, I didn't have sneak attack ticked for some reason. Sneak attack. Would you? So now, given that 4 has already been rolled, would you like me to roll just the 3 die 6?
Yeah.
Or sorry, 2 die 6. I haven't leveled up yet. So 2 die 6. Well, so 8
Yeah.
and
So you had 2
12
HP left,
damage.
so you wipe him out.
Okay, and then I have a No, sorry, I don't have a bonus action. I get a second attack. So I will attack this one with the crossbow, hand crossbow. So I don't know why I had advantage on. Pick either or. It's up to you because I had advantage on. So
Yeah. So that's a hit. Roll damage.
okay. Oh, I had sneak on. Sorry.
That's fine. So you just deal the 9.
Yeah, the 5.
Oh, okay. You
6.
just do.
Sorry, because it's my +1.
6. All right. Seem to have done some damage. Not quite bloodied yet, but he's getting close to it. Is that your turn?
No, so I'm going to spend another key point, flurry of blows, which allows me to attack, in theory, unarmed, but because I'm a Kensai, I
Kensai,
can
yeah,
do
with dagger. Yeah,
work
yeah, yeah,
weapon.
yeah, yeah. Make that attack.
Exactly.
Slash.
So I'm going to attack with my dagger. It's 16.
Not it.
Not a hit. Okay, so then I miss.
Is the Knight of House Daggermark's turn. He gets around behind him. He makes actually, no. He risks the op because he sees that his lady is getting surrounded. So this guy, even though he's in disarray, the man-at-arms will make an op against him. It won't be an advantage though, so it misses. He's gonna come around here, get the flank on this guy. Make a great sword swing, miss it, and then make another great sword swing, hit it. It comes down straight on this guy's helmet, splits it, and then splits his head like a fucking melon. He drops
Yeah.
dead, and then Kyran
Nice.
looks over at him. He's like, "You traitor! You filth! You side with this inbred whoreson!" And he's like, "I will rip out your filthy, scaly tongue for that, you freak!" And then he gets into flanking position behind
Wow.
Kyran.
We're just so rude to each other. Shit.
And then it's Beak's turn, and Beak is going to come over here and make 2 attacks with the Pokey Pokey.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah, what are the odds, right? 6, 7, 8. And Beak has sneak attack. So he's going to do an extra d6. So Beak just thrusts the flaming rapier through him, and like a fire bursts out from this guy's chest and then extinguishes just as quickly as he slumps to the ground dead. Beak like gives you a nod before looking over there, looking at the trident, looking at the situation, and being like, "Oh, okay, it's time to go kill this fucker."
Yeah. Rogues before brogues.
Yeah. So it is Aryala's turn, and she is going to attempt to just yeet this thing right between his eyes. She does not manage to hit. The balefire she fired seems to still be simmering at the end of the prongs. Doesn't seem like she can do that infinitely with this thing. And she's not an angel herself. She is going to try, however, to throw out an Eldritch Blast. So, really quickly, spellcasting NPC. Charisma. Caster level. Eldritch Blast. Bam,
I,
bam.
Did not stock up enough for this adventure.
Fuck, you came through that whole thing? Damn.
I'm close to 300 pounds. There's mass to consider.
Nice. Still though, that's impressive. I approve strongly.
I think I have another one right here.
All right, so her attack. One of her bolts slams into him. He takes damage as like a rippling white light slams into him. It's the end of the round, and Enterok smashes through the barrier, and its head is now just like wrapped around the thrones, and it's hissing. Its hiss almost seems like a maniacal laughter, as this giant fucking serpent head is just in there watching you guys fuck each other up. It's now Kyran the Sea King's turn. Kyran the Sea King is going to spin around and try and strike everyone around him. He hits. So with his shield and his trident, he lashes out at everyone around him, dealing 8 damage, including his own guy. And then he's like, keep fighting, you fools. And the one guy who's left alive is gonna step back here and here for the flank attack. And he's like, I'm gonna send this freak back to the grave. And with advantage, he gets the 20. He rolls damage. 6. Oh, he cuts her terribly down the back. She screams and cries out, contorts. White light breaking out at various seams across her body. It seems like she's destabilizing. It is Aura Dusk's turn.
Good. I am going to. Yep.
Who's left?
I'm going to do another set of Eldritch Blast at the guy that just stabbed her. Did 2 of those fire? Yeah. So, which guy is it? This guy?
This guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Which guy just stabbed her? All right. So 13 to him. Does that kill him?
Yeah, you absolutely blow him away.
Is there anybody else that's kind of?
Oh yeah, Kyran is the last guy standing.
Yeah. All right. So 7. So 7 to him.
All right. Yeah, and that is Ura's turn. Edwin.
Right. So I think, given the lack of combatants and the fact that I can't do anything about the sea serpent thing, angry elder god
That's not
thing.
really our department.
Exactly. I'll move in on Chiron here and do the whole multiple attack thing. So normal. Oh, I don't need advantage of sneak attack. So dagger, 20 to hit.
That hits.
So 14 with my first attack. Hand crossbow with the second 25.
Roll
To
damage.
hit for the second attack. So 7.
Ooh, he looks like he's barely holding on there.
I'll spend the third of my 4 key points to attack again.
Hey, Lee, I just gave you a thing.
I know. I'm considering like temporarily blacking out the stream just to download it.
Oh,
Actually,
darling,
I'm gonna do
miss.
that right now. Stream.
It's on the map, darling. You don't need to. I added it to the map.
Oh, it just let you drag that out there.
Miss.
Excellent.
Miss
I
with
also
my
wanted to-
third attack. And it takes a bonus action to load the crossbow, so I can't do that a second time. So you straight up miss.
All right. It is the Knight of House Daggermark's turn. He is flanking. He has 2 attacks. He makes he makes both of them. He both of those hit. Yeah, you only need 1. He had 5 HP left. He cuts him down, and as he's dying, he just like slides his greatsword, such as the decapitates him frontways, sliding under his Adam's apple. Then he flicks the serpentine head off across the room. for good measure, Ayala's like, oh, excellent, excellent. Yes, now, my throne. Come to me, Antarok. You and I have business to finish.
Ooh.
So as she approaches, like, what a terrible and noble burden to bear.
I don't know who's bearing that.
The serpent's trident, the god ray, stolen from the far sky. It was so much for Magavisha to give it back. Ooh, and I do mean to give it back. Antarok hisses. And though its language is foreign, it rings in all your minds understood. I have no need of trinkets when I will finally have my land back. Ever since those stingy, drunken manlets stole it from me with their runes, I have coveted this land. I am done with covenants and rituals. And she says, oh yes, you are. Come a little closer. And, Ariala's just gonna fucking give the Olympic yeet.
So, are we fighting a sea serpent?
Unfortunately for her, the Olympic yeet bounces off one of its panels, and she uses her bonus action to recall it to her. And she then proceeds to move into cover, and she's like, "Keep him busy. I've got this. I've got this." And then you are now about to fight Antarok, King of the Seas.
The motherfucking
The true master of the waters. Unlike that pretender. Yeah. You, on its turn, it, moves to cover the seats in the throne room. Sort of like enshrining itself around it. And then it swishes its tongue. And then it spits. It is going to spit in an area that covers both you and Native House of Daggermark. So if you would kindly give me a dexterity save.
Yes. I feel kind of remiss in saying that I only moved her up so that I could see the map, but I'm just going to go with it that I'm actually there.
Okay, well, that's dramatic. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Good. And I haven't taken any damage at all, so let's do this. Dexterity.
alright, so you are going to take, I'm going to roll you your damage real quick. You're going to take 16, actually, you know what? I already rolled the damage Knight has Daggermark gets. Why don't you both take the same damage? You're going to take 8 damage.
Yep.
Why does it say your health is -8?
It should, because probably the whole shenanigans that I did. Here you go, -8. Oh, yeah, that works too.
And
Either one
now,
works.
-8. And yeah, so it's moved, it's done, it took an action to like coil itself strictly around those thrones, and then it spat at you, so it has 2 actions. That's its turn. It is Aura's Dusk's turn. This thing gives off a radiant aura of like bad juju vibes.
Oh shit.
You don't feel like you can approach too closely to this entity without some alcohol.
Well, oh god, that's the kind of thing we're dealing with. I should have drawn it differently. Sorry about that. I went really literal with the sea serpent thing.
He is a giant sea serpent.
Oh, yeah.
He's just he's like a terror of the deep.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, both of those hits slam into his body, and you deal 21 damage overall.
Nice.
You pop off 1/8 of his health bars, like big, like almost chitinous scale segments of his body that have formed to form a strange sea creature's armor pop off, revealing a softer underbelly and scaly, like fresh skin beneath, almost like it's not fully grown yet, bring you closer to his gentle body. And Entourage is hissing in rage at this, and he's definitely got it out for Aurora at this point.
Yeah, I moved to the
And you
side.
hear it say, "I can see through your disguise, woman. I know what you are.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
You will not be the first to dissolve in my belly, who comes from Raphael's get." And it is Edwin's turn.
So earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you mentioned that the Triton here had a black trident.
Yes, you did.
Cool. More of a meta question than a question for in character reasons. Would I need to attune to that in order to use it?
No, it seems to actually just be a masterwork. So it is still +1, but it is not magical in nature.
Cool, perfect. Because here's my plan: is
Pick it up and eat it.
grab that. Well, I'm gonna yes, exactly. I'm gonna throw it if I'm able to. I don't.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna pick that up. Move to probably. Let's measure this here.
60 feet.
Perfect. I can hit him for that without disadvantage because the sharpshooter feat. In which case I need to roll. Let's do hand crossbow. It's still ranged, so it's the same to hit. We just need to figure out the damage separately.
Yeah.
So
It's a d6.
normal. Yes. So, 15 to hit.
Barely.
16 because it's +1.
Oh, it fucking hits. Yeah, roll
Right.
d6 +1 plus your stat mod.
Which is what is it for a trident?
I'll say
it's,
in this
it's
instance,
versatile, so yes.
you can use either.
Yes. So that's d6 plus stat mod plus +1. Where's the roller here?
Roll
This
that
roller.
dice.
D6 plus 1 plus stat mod, so 7.
Yeah, you got 7. It is that. So that was well. Edwin, do you want to do anything else in your turn?
Sure. Because in theory, I can make 2 attacks as long as I'm using a monk weapon, which in my case counts as my hand crossbow.
Right. So pop the shot.
So, boop.
Roll the damage.
Cool. And I haven't used sneak attack, so.
How do you have sneak attack on him?
The swashbuckler allows me to use sneak attack even if I don't have advantage.
All right. You deal a lot of damage, and it is.
So 17 plus the previous 7.
Right, so where do you? I don't know if you want to move yourself, but that's your big actions. I can move on, right?
20, 24, and yes, because I'm not going to move it any closer. Because I don't deal in close.
He shoots his crossbow and misses and moves back to reloading position. Beak is not super thrilled about this whole situation, but you know he's gonna give it the good old college try. He has disadvantage on throwing his stars at this range, but the 22 hits.
Oof, that's good.
He gets 5 piercing on his shuriken, and now is Aryala's turn. And it looks like something's recharged inside of it. She's going to pop around the corner, and she is going to unleash the balefire upon it. It seems to almost home in on Entourage. He has no chance to dodge. It slams into him and coils and begins to hiss, and he's like, "You fool! I will ravage this sea." And she says, "You've made one mistake, Entourage." And he's like, "You can't know that." Every possibility. You couldn't possibly be stupid enough to... The sound of the god ray trident cracking is heard. A terrible white light. And Aryala is now only charitably termed a woman. She's more of a hulking giant. Roll religion to know what that is. She's a female giant.
Yes, please. Let's see here. All the tabs. Normal. Religion. 12.
Aura, you remember hearing a legend about something called the Nephilim. You see, you're not actually supposed to fuck the angel. That's a bad idea. Most angelic warlocks, like, they made a deal, or they had some sort of special communion, maybe they cuddled, but they didn't fuck the terrible light entity of absolute strange morality. That tends to end badly, because you tend to wind up giving birth to Nephilim. Nephilim are giants. Giants of a very particular type. You don't know that much about them, but you know there's a reason people don't want to be Nephilim. That being said, Aryala really looks like she's what she's always been meant to be. Her hands are now a bit more like claws, her teeth more like fangs, her eyes are like scythes of light emanating out from her. She fires, just casually, offhandedly, 2 fucking eye beams that are Eldritch Blasts at this guy as she approaches. And that's not even the main course. And she is going to walk up to him. Really more jaunt, stride, boof, boof, boof.
A swagger.
Grab his head where it is wrapped around the thrones. Slam it down. That's as the eye is pierced by one of the thrones. And then toss him off of the other one. He rips up the other throne in the process and goes hurtling into the sea, blood spewing all the way down. And then Aryala just sort of like turns around, casually like props one foot onto the throne, bleeding ichor all over this heavenly blood, this essence of something very near an angel. And she just looks down at the throne and she says, "Mine." And with that, a lightning bolt strikes in the distance, and as it does, her hair breaks out into a 270-degree cornea of light flowing behind her. And she says, "Come forward and receive your rewards, my Crownbreakers." Beak looks between you guys, and he's like, "I don't know about this one, fam. Cool. I don't know about this one, fam. Cool."
Yeah, I quietly, I'm like, I think we made the wrong choice.
The Knight of House Daggermark looks up in awe, and he's like, "I had never believed the stories." And then Greg and Bev walk in, and they're like, "Oh," and they're like, "Oh shit!" And they like drop to their knees. They drop their dice and their coin pouches, and they're like, "We're not worthy." And then she's like, "Come, you two will feed me. Feed me for the rest of your lives. You were exceedingly good at it. You always brought me a lot of meat." And they're like, of course, we'll bring you everything." And they're like, she's like, "Good." And the Knight of House Daggermark approaches, and she says, "From now on, you shall be known as Sig the Loyal." And Sig the Loyal of House Daggermark, rises. And she says, "You are the ward of Helden on High. I award you all appetiting titles and revenues. Come, Crownbreakers, receive your rewards."
Can I roll an insight? I'm just gonna.
Roll an insight.
She's kind of low on health, so if this insight rolls that she's not friends
We
with us.
just wipe everybody out.
I'd roll at it. I'd say I'd give you advantage. She legitimately intends to convey title and revenue upon you.
Oh, well, all right. You know what? I haven't lost all my HP, and in a metagaming sense, that balefire probably couldn't kill me immediately. I'm gonna go ahead and be like, so, let's skip the whole title thing. I don't want any titles. Let's just deal with the rewards and everything, and
She's
we'll be
like,
on our merry.
haha, yes, yes. I know exactly the title to give the one who refuses. You are the Ward of the Crags. So you, Ward of the Crags, and you've gained the Crags as a stronghold. Ward of the Crags, it's only worth 500G a week to you right now. You don't know why that is. But you have received the title Ward of the Crags, and you are a noble. And that is, whether you like it or not, she says you are, and now you are. The Nephilim Queen has spoken, and her word is law for those who would not like to get eyesight beamed. So yeah, she says, come, bird thing? Beak kind of like hops out.
I'll loudly whisper, because I assume I know Beak's name. I'll just be like, Beak, so that she knows.
Like, Beak, yes. You bird thing. I really want to piss off some rich people. I'm going to make you the Ward of North Point. In your rich black coat of feathers, lord over those haughty fucking elves. So, Beak has become the Ward of North Point. Become the Ward of North Point. He gets 2K a week from that. And the last ward available is Broad Harbor, and she gestures for Edwin to come forward.
So, can I assume at this point that I have the shift weave we previously spoke of?
Yes.
Okay, so Edwin is by nature not a particularly brave person, but he's also simultaneously aroused and terrified right now.
Nice. Got a giant.
So the shift weave is going to be used to turn into the formal outfit, one of the 5 that he programmed in, and he will, as best as he can, given that he's not a particularly educated man, play into the ritual of the whole knighting and title thing. So he'll bow and do the whole rigmarole.
Yeah, so she bestows upon you the ward of Broad Harbor, and she's just like, you seem good with money. And you're gonna get, that's plus 1,000 G a week. You are a noble. You mostly derive your revenue from, things that at the tax house and the harbor. So if things are good for the harbor, you'll make more. If things are bad for the harbor, you'll make less. And that's true of the whole island, but yeah. And you look behind you.
As a road, it's perfectly suited.
It looks like there's a storm. Weirdly enough, the fog has lifted. It's just a storm on high, black clouds firing far too bright lightning bolts down on the sea. And she says, "I am now master of the storm sea. I have fulfilled the prophecy. Ontrock can rot in the waters for all I care. Foxstill Lake, we're a sea now." And with that, she also she bestows riches upon you. You all get right now up front 5K up front. There isn't any angel dust to speak of, but Greg and Bev do manage to find and break out at her behest a bottle of ambrosia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can I get the librarian in here?
The librarian is nowhere to be found in the keep.
That's valid. I would not be found in the keep either.
Yeah.
So we're good here. I think that works.
Yeah. With that, I mean, is there anything in particular you want to be sure that you do before we fade out? You are
I
the
I mean, yes, but I'm afraid of how she would react to my attempts to hit on her. So
Go for it.
Aryala is roll that persuade, fam.
no, I'm good.
All right, so you're like that's hot, but I'm afraid. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, scaroused. Yes.
Go roused. All right,
Wow.
so and with that,
Wait, my character is going to. I just wanted to say, my character is going to make her appointment at 12 in the Crags, and
Excellent.
share some ambrosia with the librarian.
Okay, cool. When you drink a draught of ambrosia, you gain a point of inspiration.
Nice.
Yeah, so mark that on your sheet.
Enjoy our night.
It's literally liquid inspiration.
Nice. Well, she and I have an enjoyable evening.
Much cuddling is had, and we fade to black as the Crownbreakers have seized victory from the jaws of defeat, and again managed to not kill an angel in the process. I think that we're probably going to go with Pat first for favorite, least favorite. What we'd like to see more of.
Right. Well, this was a whirlwind. Favorite.
I thought you also were just going to fight the angel.
Yeah, right. When the fuck are we gonna kill some angels?
I've been on 2 hunts and I've killed 1, so 50-50 is not
Pat's
bad.
in the minority. She's actually been 2/3 of her hunts. They didn't. You've been on more than 2, 3.
I've been on more than 3.
But
yeah.
like 2 now. 2 now. You haven't killed the angel.
Yeah, exactly.
But sorry, I'm interrupting. Favorite, least favorite. What you want to see more of?
Favorite thing, I loved all the NPC interactions. All the role playing was great. The fact that we didn't even have to fight until the very end was awesome. I loved everything. You're a great DM. You're a great storyteller. You spit all that description off like nothing, and I know a lot of it's improv.
I actually did not decide that it was. I literally made a tab and named it Still Lake and did everything from there at like 7 p.m.
You're fantastic.
Like,
all right, wait. Can I tell you like the craziest thing?
yeah.
I was literally about to ask you if you wanted me to do a sea-themed angel picture, because I was like, we should do a sea-themed angel adventure. And then this happened, and I'm like, fuck, I'm off the hook for art, I guess. So that I loved everything about that. Least favorite, I feel like, considering it is Crownbreakers, I feel like there should be more incentive to kill the angels, or I feel like they should be less reasonable.
Yeah.
Or
that being said, have you ever seen the wild shit that Rainbow has on her angelic weapons, or that Zero has on his angelic weapon? Because they are very nice magic weapons, and they are only made from angel dust.
Yeah. I have not actually done any of the out of game upgrading on anything. To be honest, I've just been using all the default.
Yeah, I'm gonna create a nexus for all Crownbreaker players to do that from now that I'm hanging out.
I feel like I could probably upgrade my character at least a little bit, considering. What I'd like to see more of, I would like to upgrade my character, and obviously that's mostly on me. For not doing that. What I'd like to see more of is I love everything you do. I'd like to see more NPC interactions and more actually killing angels. There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right. So 12-sided guy, lay it on me.
Oh God, is it me already? I'm not prepared. No. I absolutely loved the whole of the tavern.
That was fun.
I mean, as a person, I don't necessarily get the whole drug culture thing, but as a character, I'm on board, right? So the fact that there's this whole thing that we could have honestly probably derailed the entire adventure if we wanted to. Just that whole, basically, as I've said previously in the last adventure I participated in, the fact that there are elements of the world that happen with or without us that we can interact with, I like that.
Yeah.
And as an aside, a second favorite, as it were, is the fact that opposite to Pat, we don't have to kill angels. I like that because as Crownbreakers, that's kind of the exact thing we're expected to do.
Yeah. And I would say there are some
Least-
angels who just like merc. So
Yeah, well, exactly. Least favorite would be much akin to the first adventure I participated on, where we could use and this could be like a lack of knowing the right questions to ask as players or as characters. Like I don't know the source of this, but I feel like if we had a little bit more, and I'm talking like 10, maybe 15% more information as characters than we as players would know how to interact with specific things. It's akin to the Devil's Hand in the last one again, where like, while I absolutely love that there are all these things going on that we could absolutely not interact with and would happen without us,
yeah.
simultaneously, I feel like we don't learn enough to even begin to guess how to interact with them.
Yeah, so you guys you definitely need more information going in, and that's something that is probably more
Yeah.
underprepared than anything else.
Well, I mean, in your defense, it is entirely possible that we as players just don't think of the right questions to ask. So, take it as both criticism, but as something that is not necessarily on you.
All right.
Other than that, anything else we'll talk about in the Discord?
Yes.
Everyone should look at joining in the links just posted
Absolutely.
in the
Thank you,
chat.
12 Side Guy, for remembering. Also, shout out, Pat obviously has done some lovely art, and
Oh, I'm so envious of your actual artistic ability.
she
As
literally
someone
did
who-
this like while it was happening.
Well, exactly. As someone who works hard to make art because I have no talent, I recognize actual talent. I'm so jealous of your artistic talent.
Yeah.
Not really loud.
And aside from
You say that, but as somebody who has to work hard in order to make art because I have no talent, I recognize talent versus effort.
Yeah. In the description, there is Silky Noir. It does lots of character portraits. Very affordable rate if you want to get a character commission done, D&D. And 108 Terrible Faces. It was a Kickstarter thing, released for free for use. Free to download on Drive-Thru-RPG. Absolutely go there, tip them a bit. This is what basically all these black and white line works of this certain style that I use to fill in all sorts of roles and generics. 108 Terrible Faces. Never let me down. And yeah.
I do. It's my Instagram, or sorry, my Wait, what am I using?
Tinder?
Twitter. Thank you.
Yes, you.
My Tinder. My Twitter is Spider Queen.
Yeah, it's linked. Yeah, we pulled up the links, and long _ spider. Yeah, and aside from that, we do regularly stream on Thursdays and Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern is our regular start time. We normally go to about 12:30 or 1 a.m. or 12, depending. Might end a little bit earlier, 11:45. And thank you so much for coming out, all 5 of you, even though half of us are probably us. We really appreciate all of the support. If you have Amazon Prime and you're not using that, if you don't know, they give you a Twitch sub for free. So any streamer whatsoever, you can just give that Twitch sub to. They'll really appreciate it. It really helps. So if you just have Amazon Prime or know someone who has an Amazon Prime account who's maybe not big into Twitch, just be like, hey, you could do this here. It's lovely. Aside from that, yeah.
Tell your friends, get them to watch the channel because there will be giveaways rather in the future.
Ooh,
Ah.
promising. And yeah, so
I have a backstock of things I've been meaning to give away.
yes, you do. But so Monday's Crownbreakers. Thursday right now is Guns Against Gods, a sci-fan story in space where Pat plays a daemoness of greed and also half of a ship as a big carapace monster thingy. And they're going into the heart of a druid hippie world to go find a slumbering space dragon and fight a druid who seems to have turned to the side of the evil eldritch gods from beyond time and space. The horror not yet born. Oh me, oh my. Tune in Thursday, find out what the fuck I'm on about. I'm gonna hit end stream now. Love all y'all.